In the body cam video recorded by the Volusia County Sheriff's Office, 15-year-old Gregory Ramos seems upset and confused, worried about his mother, and he seems to work with investigators to try to track her down.
On the afternoon of November 2, 2018, Volusia County officers respond to what's initially reported as a routine burglary call. Standard protocol, standard expectations, nothing they haven't seen before. But they don't know that in the next few minutes, they're about to walk into a case that will shatter their entire sense of what's real. And the most terrifying part won't be what they find, it will be who showed it to them.
One, where's your emergency?
I just got home and my house is completely trashed. It looks like someone broke in the side door.
Okay, how long have you been gone?
I've been gone all school day.
Are you there by yourself?
Yeah.
How old are you?
15.
I need you to take a deep breath. I'm going to ask you a few questions, okay?
Okay. My mom's car is here and it's on, and she's not home. And she's supposed to go to work today, and I can't find her.
Okay. Your mom's car is there. Is there any other way she ever gets to work? Does she ever get a ride from anyone else?
No, the car is on. It's turned on.
The car is on, and you're sure she is not there?
I searched the entire place. I've been here for like 8 minutes. I've been looking.
Okay.
I can't find her.
I'm right here with you, okay? What's your name?
All right. My full name is Gregory Logan Ramos.
Is there anybody that has made any threats to your mom or to you?
No.
15-year-old Gregory stays on the line with a 911 operator, calmly detailing what he claims he's seeing as officers arrive at his home and immediately fall into standard procedure. Assess the scene, secure the property, and figure out what was taken. That's the job. But this scene doesn't behave like a burglary scene, not at all.
Gail.
I copy, thank you.
Elaine Clevenger. Where does she work? She works at an architecture firm up in Orlando.
Is she normally home this time of day?
No, she gets home at 6:30.
Okay.
Does she actually leave for work before you? She dropped me off, and then she usually just heads back to the Sunrail and hops in the train with her bike. And
does anybody else live here? What's the guy?
My dad and my two step-siblings.
Where are they at?
My dad is on a business trip in Seattle. He'll be back this afternoon at 6:30.
Okay.
And then the two stepchildren have their moms.
Okay.
But everything is gone. Like, except for like the mounted TV on my wall. There's everything.
Hoping to piece together what happened, two officers conduct a walkthrough of the house, and within seconds, they're staring at destruction that doesn't read like random theft, but like targeted rage, violence, methodical, and deeply personal. Bedrooms torn apart, closets emptied, contents scattered everywhere. In the kitchen, every cabinet door hangs open, including the ones beneath the sink, and shards of broken glass blanket the floor from what looks like deliberate destruction of the family dishware. This doesn't scream burglar. It screams something else.
It's weird. Why is there all this crap up here spilled? There's a broken glass here. I saw this shit broken, dude.
The scale of damage suggests something more sinister than a simple break-in, almost vindictive, like someone wasn't just looking for valuables, they were trying to send a message to Gregory's mother, Gail, or to the entire family. And as officers prepare to escort Gregory to the station for comfort and safety, a neighbor approaches with information. Information that will change everything, or so they think.
So I do have a key to their house, but I haven't been up here since yesterday evening, or after you and I spoke. Yeah. I talked to his parents.
Okay.
As I told him, this young man has some depression problems really bad.
Has she had any issues with him lately? Or?
No, not that I know of.
Back at the station, Gregory is brought in for support and safety as the search continues at the home. And in the middle of this chaos, he reaches out to Ken Jones, his mentor, through the Police Explorers program, a youth initiative that gives teen exposure to law enforcement. Ken arrives quickly. He sits with Gregory in footage that will later be analyzed by a panel of specialists, a licensed counselor, an attorney, a former detective, a retired polygraph examiner, and a former hostage negotiation commander. And as Ken tries to calm him, one detail becomes impossible to ignore: bruises on Gregory's face.
What happened here?
I got in a fight yesterday with one of my friends.
I didn't see that yesterday.
I had makeup.
Right.
It was a conversation with my friends. We got into a disagreement, but I solved the problem. I talked it out with him, and we made up, and he apologized for hitting me, and I accepted his apology.
What was his name?
We hugged it out. My friend, Joe.
Joe? Does the SRD know about the fight?
The who?
The SRD resource guy.
No, there was no fight. He just came up. He's like, Greg, and I was like, what? He kind of punched me. He's like, what the hell, dude? I didn't hit back or anything. It was just,
Right.
and I was like, okay, well, calm down. Let's talk it out. We talked it out, and it was just,
What's Joe's last name?
I don't know.
So he's your friend.
I don't know.
To be honest with me, Craig, what's his last name?
I don't know his last name.
Who does know his name?
I don't know. Point of the matter is, though, we made up. It was just a conversation that happened. It wasn't anything too important. We talked it out, and we hugged, and it was like, dude, I'm sorry. I made a mistake, and he was justified. And I said, I'm sorry for making that mistake.
What time this happened yesterday?
Ballpark of the afternoon.
But I saw you like at what? What time did you get out of the fair?
Like out there at 7.
Okay. I just seen that. You put makeup on it before you came out there?
Yeah. Some concealer.
Why would you do that?
Because I didn't want to work traffic detail with scars on my face.
I guess that's reasonable.
As they talk, Gregory's focus locks onto one subject: his mother. Where is she? What happened to her? Where could she be right now? It's the kind of concern you'd expect. But the way he presents it doesn't feel clean. It feels performed.
You know if any developments have been made, if anything happened?
They're going to tell you everything that goes on. But I'm trying to make sure that you are the right one. Because, when you called me, you were very upset.
Yeah, it was just all in all bad situation.
Okay. Well, she had called me earlier. I could have come down here earlier with you. That's why I wanted to come down here and make sure that you're okay. Look at me for a second. No matter what's happened, it's very important that whatever it is, that you're up front and honest. Even remember what Joe's last name is.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's important. So what we act upon and when you tell us things is what we're going to do.
I know.
We got to be able to trust you.
Investigators would later describe Gregory's behavior as oddly out of place, and Ken, stepping into a father figure role, urges him to look up and speak truthfully. Gregory doesn't open up. He closes down. Arms crossed tight. Posture sealed off. Expression detached. A teenager in crisis should look scared. He looks guarded.
No, I'm not saying you're not telling the truth. Yeah. I'm just saying for some reason you don't want to tell me Joe's name. And I don't know why. Why wouldn't you want to tell me Joe? I'm not going to go run after Joe and get him in trouble. But that's just
you are.
That's kind of like a question to make sure that you're going to be honest with me.
I do have my full cooperation. It's just I don't want an unrelated incident to be drawn into the more important.
Well, we may need to make sure it is unrelated. Maybe we need to make sure that the people didn't come there and hurt you too. Is that possible?
No, it's not.
Okay. All right.
If it was, I would have voiced my concerns already.
Okay. That's fair. But we want to make sure that you're okay.
I'm fine.
Because these guys are going to ask you a lot of questions. They're going to be hard questions. It's going to be a lot harder than me asking you what that guy's name is.
Okay.
And I don't want you to put up any walls. I want you to just tell them exactly what happened.
I'll answer all their questions. I'm ready.
Once Gregory appears more settled, at least on the surface, Sergeant Pagliari enters to begin the formal interview. And this is where the case stops being a conversation and becomes a process, a strategy, a controlled environment where every word matters.
A couple things. As you can see, I see that you keep looking at my recorder, so everything that I do obviously is recorded, okay? Plus you see the camera up in the thing there.
Gregory has read his rights, and it's important to note that in Florida, there's no legal requirement for a parent to be present during a minor's interrogation, though a parent or guardian must be notified when a minor is taken into custody if contact can be made without unreasonable delay. Miranda rights still apply in exactly the same way. With the legal formalities addressed, Pagliari begins gathering background on Gail as well as Gregory's recent disciplinary issues at school.
How would you say your relationship is with your mom?
It has its ups and downs.
Okay.
I think everyone argues a little bit with their mom.
Okay.
But we love each other a lot. And I really hope she's okay.
Have you ever been in trouble with the law before or anything?
No, sir.
No? Okay. How about trouble in school? Yeah? Okay.
Having his mentor in the room should reassure Gregory. It doesn't. His body language tells a different story. Arms locked across his chest, posture closed, nonverbal signals clashing with his words in a way that suggests deep anxiety. And sure, his mother is missing and the house is destroyed, so anxiety would be normal, but there's something off in the energy, like Gregory isn't just reacting to events, he's managing an image, curating how he's perceived. That's unusual.
Getting background before we get into things, that's all I'm trying to do here. So, like, trouble at school, like how?
So I'm trying to think about when it was. Last month, I got ISS and an OSS for a day.
What is that, sir? I don't know.
ISS is in-school suspension. OSS is out-of-school suspension.
Okay. Why? What happened?
The weekend beforehand, my friend was feeling ill, so I snuck out of my house to go talk to him, and I talked with him, and my friend smoked cigarettes, and he gave me some to take home with me. I put some in my backpack, and I forgot to take them out. So when I was searched randomly at my school, they were found.
And how'd your mom feel about that?
She was not happy, but we worked on a solution, which was me going to do community service for my church.
Okay. You talk about ups and downs in your mom's relationship, right? So that would probably be one of the downs, I would assume.
No, because she was justified in her anger. That was my fault. But previously, my mom has done things that were not justified.
You want to tell me about those?
All you really need to know is it was just impulse. It wasn't anything serious.
Gregory positions himself as someone who'll admit fault if necessary, but he also tries to take control, even telling officers all you really need to know, which is a bold, defiant posture for a 15-year-old supposedly living through the worst day of his life. This isn't the vibe of a frightened victim. It's confidence, and confidence in that chair is dangerous.
Okay. I'm not here to get your mom in trouble, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. All right. So if you think that what you're going to tell me is going to negatively affect what I think about your mother, that's not it at all.
It's just hard for me to talk about.
Okay.
With Gregory's demeanor now on the radar, Pagliari shifts gears. He needs a timeline, clear, specific, verifiable, starting with the day before the reported burglary.
Who stayed at your house last night?
Who was at my house last night?
Yeah.
When asked simple questions, Gregory often repeats them back before answering. It buys time, it creates space, and in an interrogation room, space is a tool.
Me and my mother.
Okay. All right. Now, Detective Jones was talking to you, and I was, again, listening. You were at a fair or something yesterday?
Yesterday, I was working parking detail for the Orange City Police Explorers. I was helping park cars at the Volusia County Fair.
Do you know what time you came home last night?
8:47, maybe?
Why so specific?
That's just a time I remember, probably from looking at my phone. The thing with the traffic detail ended early. It was supposed to go until 9, but I think it ended a bit early. And so I got home around just closer to 9. So, yeah.
Mom was home?
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys, when you got home, conversation with mom, ask how your day was, anything?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Good.
Okay.
We talked, we ate dinner.
What'd you guys have for dinner?
I don't remember.
You don't remember what you had?
No.
It must not have been very eventful.
No, it was just like every other night.
Then comes a small vocal tell that investigators don't ignore. A good delivered with a slight upward inflection, a subtle marker that can signal uncertainty. It's minor, but nothing is minor in that room. Not anymore.
When you got home, conversation with mom, ask how your day was, anything?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Good.
Gregory keeps his answer short and frustratingly vague, while insisting the previous night was normal, and paradoxically, that insistence only raises more suspicion because his tone and posture suggest the opposite. It doesn't feel ordinary. It feels rehearsed.
So mom doesn't make good food? Because there seems to me dinner's never eventful. Is that what you're telling me?
I know.
Because when I find her and tell her, I'm going to say, listen, Greg says the dinner's uneventful. You think she's going to be upset with me or upset with you when she says that?
Maybe.
A few moments prove especially telling. Gregory gives a strangely precise answer, 8:47, showing his memory can be razor sharp when it benefits him, and when the detective tries to lighten the mood, the air shifts the instant the conversation returns to Gale. Instead of relief or hope, Gregory shows heightened anxiety. That's an unsettling reaction, and it hints at something darker underneath.
That she goes off on you for other stuff, so I don't want her to go off on you for that.
Fine. It's whatever.
It's whatever. How do you deal with it when she goes off on you?
I've gotten better at it.
You've gotten better at it?
I used to get really angry and emotional, but I've kind of realized that's not worth it.
Well, that's the only way to deal with it. The worst thing to do would be what, put your hands on her?
I would never do something like that.
You would never put your hands on your mom?
No, and I think I've made that point quite clear to her. We had an argument a couple months ago, it was like a long time ago, and she sat me across the room because she didn't trust me. And I told her I could, yell and scream at you all I want, do the exact same stuff you did to me, but I'd never lay my hands on you. Never. That's just not something I do.
Gregory repeatedly insists he would never lay a hand on his mother, even offering character references about himself, which is striking because, at this point, Gale is simply missing. No one has outright accused him of anything. So why the urgency to prove innocence? Why push that hard? As Pagliari presses forward on the timeline, odd details begin to surface, and they don't stop.
Okay, what happened this morning?
I slept good. My alarm was not set. She woke me up around 6:20. I sleep in my clothes.
So what you're wearing right now is what you wore to school?
No, I changed shirts when I got home.
Okay.
I was sweaty.
Gregory mentions changing his shirt after discovering the burglary and realizing his mother was gone. And under chaotic, terrifying circumstances, that's the kind of trivial detail most people don't even register. But he did. He remembered it. And now it's on the table.
And shoes are the same?
Yes.
And your socks? I guess, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So 6:20 you slept in, okay? Mom came woke you up. Fired up, huh?
She wasn't angry.
Okay. So tell me what happened.
She's like, okay, you gotta get up now. Go brush your teeth and pile in the car. So I grabbed my backpack. I went and brushed my teeth, took out my retainer, kind of messed with my hair a bit, and then I got in the car.
So what time do you think you got to school?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Can't look at your phone?
It's probably in the ballpark of like 6:40.
Minutes earlier, he remembered 8:47 with precision, but when asked what time he arrived at school that morning, he suddenly claims he has no idea. Sharp memory, then fog. Convenient fog.
Talk to anybody when you got there? Hey, what's up? You got friends at school?
Yes.
Who'd you talk to? First person you saw at school was who?
First person I saw.
The contrast is unsettling. For a moment, Gregory drops his guarded posture, arms lower. He leans forward, wrings his hands, then just as quickly seals himself back up, like he touched a hot surface and pulled away. Something in that line of questioning hit a nerve. Hard.
Probably my friend Kat.
Cat?
Yeah.
Boy or girl?
Female.
You got a last name?
No.
Who's your friend? You don't know her last name?
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't really got that many friends. I'm not like a super social person.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
I have a lot of acquaintances that I have that I've either A, had a class with in the past, or B, have class with now, or C, I know from elsewhere. And so, yeah.
Okay. No worries, man. No worries. I get that. What's your first period class, buddy?
Biology.
Who's that teacher?
Mr. Ostowski.
Biology. Biology. What building is that? Room? Building and everything else, you know?
Building 3. 4-3.
403 is the room?
Well, building 3, floor 3.
Oh, floor 3.
I don't know the room number.
You want to take a stab at spelling the last name of that teacher?
Latsoy, or maybe W, and ski, I guess.
Man, woman?
He's a guy.
Guy. Okay. You like him?
He's
good
alright.
Teacher?
I have a D in his class.
You have a D?
Yeah.
How's Mom feel about that?
We had an argument about it last night.
Oh. Tell me about that.
We talked about it. Basically, she's like, I can't be doing this. And I was like, well, I got all A's and B's last quarter. I can pull my grade up before the end of the semester. And she was like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Don't act so cocky. I'm like, I'm not. I just know I'm capable of doing things like that.
Pagliari, experienced in behavioral observation, watches every shift and tracks every contradiction. Because selective memory, self-soothing gestures, and sudden flashes of discomfort often show up when someone's trying to keep a story intact under pressure. And Gregory's story is starting to strain. You can feel it.
Well, one thing you said you'd like you want to be a detective someday. And in my personal experience, when people start a story and then they go into the blah, blah, blah part, that there's more to the blah, blah, blah. So if you will, Greg, tell me what the blah, blah, blah part was for this argument.
Okay, well, basically, she was just kind of like, whatever. You act narcissistic sometimes. Don't be so cocky.
When Gregory describes his school day, he paints it as completely ordinary. But the moment Pagliari asks what he discovered when he got home, Gregory's body language changes. Fidgeting fingers, shifting posture, rubbing his arm. Classic self-soothing behaviors that might look normal in isolation, but in a pattern, they became data. And detectives don't miss patterns. They live on them.
I was like, well, I'm not cocky. I'm capable. I feel like I have the skills because I've done it before to fix my grades in a short amount of time. And I was like, I probably could fix them by Friday and stuff, and just talking with her about that. And she was like, all right, whatever, go study your biology. And I was like, all right. So I studied my biology for about an hour, and then I went into her room, and she was on the phone with Dad. I said hi to Dad, and then they hung up, and then I said a prayer with her for a good night, and that hour, whatever, for our healing hours, for Grandma, for Uncle Joe. So
this moment stands out. Gregory shows almost no anger about missing belongings and quickly redirects back to his mother, which on the surface can look like genuine concern, but the delivery feels forced, like he's trying too hard to perform the right emotion at the right time. It's not what he says, it's how he says it.
I was like, I probably could fix them by Friday. And so I studied my biology for about an hour, and then I went into her room, and she was on the phone with Dad. I said hi to Dad, and then they hung up, and then I said a prayer with her for a good night, and that hour, whatever, for our healing hours, for Grandma, for Uncle Joe.
Pagliari steps out to make phone calls, and Gregory is left with the detective Jones, his mentor, in a quieter conversation. And quiet rooms are where people slip.
I kissed her, and I went to sleep. Okay. And that was I went to sleep around 11. That is why I woke up late.
Okay. When was the first time somebody called you about, or did anyone call you about your mother not being at work or anything like that?
I received no communication from anyone about that.
One response instantly catches Jones' attention and triggers a shift into what law enforcement calls the confession position, a subtle physical posture change that signals the weight of a moment. Gregory seems to realize what he just did. He backtracks fast, but the damage is done, because the question hangs in the air. What exactly did he just reveal without meaning to?
What would you say it takes you to get from the bus stop to your house?
10 to 15 minutes.
Okay. You weren't running or anything today, were you?
No.
Okay.
Then comes Gregory's critical mistake, a slip that hints he may know far more about what happened to his mother than he's admitted, and almost immediately he tries to patch it with tears. But the performance feels fractured, his attention drifting as he brushes hair from his face, undercutting the emotion he's trying to sell. Detective Jones calms him down, but the tension doesn't leave, and when Pagliari returns, Gregory seems almost too eager to keep talking, too eager to keep steering.
You used the key. Mom's car was in the driveway?
Correct.
And you told Detective Jones it was running.
It was running.
Is that odd?
Yes.
Is it odd the fact that your mom's car is even there at all?
Yes.
Why?
Because she parks at the Sunrail station, and then she takes her bike on the Sunrail to go to her job.
How does mom usually get home?
6:30.
Car's in the driveway and it's running. That's weird. Car's there at all. It's weird. You agree?
Yes.
So now you use the key and you open the door. What do you do? What's the first thing you do when you went inside?
Well, I noticed that there was all over the floor, like just a bunch of like crap that was strewn everywhere, and the closet doors were open, and there was stuff spilled on my table. I just noticed that the front view of my house was chaotic.
Spilled on the table where?
I don't know. On the table.
What room's the table?
Oh, it's my house. You go through the front door, and there's this hallway. My room is this way, and then there's our dining room table right here.
Okay, gotcha.
And the next thing I did was I went in my room, and I noticed that there were things missing, and that there was dressers and crap, all that crap just pulled out and strewn everywhere.
What's missing from your room?
Mainly, I didn't really look thoroughly for like everything that was missing from my room, but I noticed 3 things in particular.
What are those?
My stereo system.
Describe what they are. So 3 things.
It's
stereo system. What's that?
It's like a radio with 2 large speakers, and it lights up LED blue.
Do you know who makes it?
Zero Clue.
Zero Clue is pretty popular.
Yeah, I know.
What's the other thing that you're missing?
My gaming computer.
Like, is it describe it to me?
It is white. It has a glass side, and inside you can see the wires and the graphics cards and all that stuff inside, and it glows LED blue.
So it's like a tower, not a laptop?
It is, yeah. It's a big boy.
It's attached to a monitor. That's how you play?
Yeah. I paid with it with all my own money from summer jobs and stuff.
Must be pretty pissed off that's gone.
Yes.
I'd be pissed off. You spent all your money that you earned to buy this computer tower, now it's gone?
Well, I'm more pissed off that my mom is gone.
Rightfully so. Get that.
That urgency overtakes him. He interrupts the detective mid-sentence. Not typical. Not for a teenager, supposedly in shock.
The 3rd thing.
I noticed I have a 25, I forget the weight on it, but it's a hunting legal combat bow.
It's compact
bow.
Give me a minute. You good? Yeah, thanks for phone call. Actually, someone needs to talk to me. You can talk to Detective Jones.
Gregory feels pressured to walk through every single move after arriving home, explaining actions in painstaking detail, and investigators note how unusual this is, because innocent people rarely feel the need to justify themselves step by step. The truth is simple. It is what it is.
When do you think my house will not be a crime scene?
I don't know. Sometimes it takes hours. Sometimes it takes almost a day and a half.
I know you've worked cases like this before.
I have. It takes a while sometimes. And the more information you can give them, the better off it is.
Yeah.
They need to know what to do, where to go.
I made a lot of bad decisions in my life with regards to other things.
Yeah.
And it's just...
But Gregory can't stop over-explaining, and that pattern reads less like a clean recollection and more like nervous energy, like someone trying to outrun suspicion by flooding the room with detail. It's cover. Sometimes detail is camouflage.
Now, my mom's gone. Like, she's dead. Like, how am I gonna reconcile with myself?
Well, why would you think that's the case?
Because no one knows where the hell she is. Why would a home invade or take hostage?
Somebody knows.
I hope my mom is okay.
Yeah, I do too, Greg.
I can't imagine what it'd be like.
Love your mom, don't you? After you guys had your argument with her last night, if she was here right now, what would you say to her?
I would just feel like such a dick after every argument we have. It just makes me angry because we don't understand each other because we're different people and we have different opinions, but we love each other. Oh no!
Yeah. You feel guilty about the fight a little bit?
I just...
What?
I just wish I hope she's safe.
Did you say you want her back?
Where is she? Why is she gone? I don't get Don't give up hope.
As he sketches a layout of the house, Gregory points out something peculiar about his mother's bedroom. And that's when detectives notice a shift, a real one.
I hope she's safe.
Suddenly, Gregory becomes more open and talkative when he's discussing details that are not directly tied to his mother's disappearance. He loosens up, he breathes easier. That contrast matters.
So we were talking about going through the house. You went down, took some inventory.
Well, after I went downstairs looking for my mom and didn't find her, I went back upstairs and I decided I needed to check on my dog.
And instead of direct answers, he starts weaving long stories to justify minor actions, a habit that often signals anxiety because it keeps the speaker in control of the narrative and away from clean, testable statements. Short answers can be checked. Stories can be shaped.
Through the house, you went down, took some inventory.
Well, after I went downstairs.
Before going deeper, Pagliari clarifies one final point, because if Gregory's responses have seemed strange up to now, what comes next will push the interview into a new territory entirely. This is where things shift dramatically.
The house was broken into, robbed. I thought there was a good chance they killed my dog. But, I mean, I didn't know. He doesn't bark that much, but I didn't know if they were going to do that or if, like, whatever. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I walked into the laundry room, and I saw everything was, like, displaced, right? But my dog was fine. And that's when I noticed the door. The door... here, I can stand up and show you.
You want to stand up and show me? Okay.
So, let's say this is the knob for the door, and there's a deadbolt here. The deadbolt was unlocked, right? And this was locked. But this entire wooden area on this frame was it looked like it had been busted open. Like the force of the door was so powerful that it had literally broken the wood. I recognized that as someone kicking in the door.
Gregory questions the relevance of certain inquiries, an unexpectedly bold move that sounds less like a worried teen and more like someone testing the boundaries, probing for what police know and how they know it. He doesn't sound like a child, he sounds like a defense attorney, and that is chilling.
I think that
because either that or they somehow forced the door open, but it had to be a strong enough force to break this, to break a lock, basically. It had to be strong enough to do that.
Sure. So, did you think that,
yeah,
the force and everything you're talking about here, is just because of that, based off your explorer training?
There's common sense.
Common sense?
I'm just assuming, just thinking out loud, you have to be able to be, either strong enough or there needs to be, a certain amount of force for the wood, a door frame to, basically, crack and, make the lock give out.
Sure.
Gregory's constant refrain, "not that I know of," reads like selective memory in real time, and the account is littered with the red flags: neck rubbing, scratching, brief eye blocking, one hand pressed across his stomach in a guarded posture. Meanwhile, the story itself strains credibility. A sudden fight with another teen, a sudden reconciliation, and even a hug, all while claiming they don't even know each other's last names, which suggests either a poor grasp of normal social dynamic or a dangerous assumption that investigators will accept anything delivered confidently. And Gregory is confident. Too confident.
I made it to the master bedroom, and it was just really bad. It was terrible in there. And one thing I noticed was that the bed was at an angle.
What's it supposed to be?
It's supposed to be straight on.
Okay. Now,
there's a dresser here. There's a couple bookshelves, and there's a mirror here, and then there's a dresser here. and then that's the bathroom going on. But that bed was out of place. That's one of the major things I noticed was that the bed was out of place.
While Pagliari continues, a second investigator quietly verifies details with the school, and the results don't match Gregory's version at all. Not even close.
So after I surveyed the house and looked for my mom, I called the cops. I'm pretty sure you know the rest of the story.
Yeah. Did you see, okay. There's one thing I want to ask you about. You said you came home from school and you wore different clothes to school. So you went through the whole house, you did all this surveying and everything. At what point did you think it was pertinent to change your clothes?
All right, let me tell you. So I was sweating my ass off, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was really hot, and...
Pressed on a point, a truthful person often answers plainly, yes, or reacts with genuine confusion, why wouldn't I? Gregory replies, it's up to you. Confrontational, evasive, unnecessary.
I told my family, I think I told you this, but I got in the house and I felt sick. I couldn't find my mom. I was freaking out. I was not in a good place. And so I went to my bathroom and I threw up in the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
And I then proceeded to flush the throw up down. And then I took off my school shirt and then I changed it to a different shirt. I didn't know if there was any throw up on it or not, but I was feeling hot and sweaty and I needed to change the color.
Where's the shirt at now?
It's in my hamper.
Where's that?
In my room.
Okay.
Then he goes completely still, like he's choosing the shape of his next story, because now the detective has conflicting information, and Gregory enters the deconflict loop, retrofitting his narrative to survive the new facts. Pagliari eases into confrontation, introducing discrepancies piece by piece, mirroring posture to preserve rapport, while tightening pressure, and with each pass, the gap widens between what can be verified and what Gregory insists happened. The space for the story is shrinking fast.
Detective Jones was talking about the marks to your face, and
Correct.
I want to talk about that a little bit more. Greg.
All right.
When did that happen?
Can I ask what relevance this has to the conversation?
Everything is relevant, Greg.
It becomes harder to tell which emotions, if any, are real. But one thing is crystal clear. If Gregory will lie about small details, he can lie about big ones. So what is he protecting? What's the core lie?
Say, hey, listen, Greg's mother's missing. Greg has marks on his face. Is it possible that Greg got in some kind of altercation with his mother? Right? They're going to ask me that.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I need to explain when you got those marks on your face.
All right.
Good. When?
Yesterday.
Yesterday? What time?
After school.
Where at?
Student parking lot.
Okay. Who did it?
My friend Joe.
What's his last name?
It starts with an L.
You have a class with him?
No. He's older than me, but he's
what?
He's older than me.
Older than you. Okay. Joe L. Older. White male, black male, Hispanic male.
White.
Okay. What grade do you think Joe L. is in?
He's a junior.
How long have you known him?
Year and a half.
Okay.
Not gonna explain the situation to you because it probably looks like I got my ass beat.
Well, go ahead, please. Tell me what happened.
All right. So at homecoming, Joe's ex-girlfriend was attempting to grind on me. I don't know if you know what that is.
Tell me what it is.
It's like when you have well, I was hanging out with my friend, my other friends, right? And they're getting grinded on, right? But I don't have a girlfriend, and I'm kind of more focused on other things, and I don't have time for that. And so his ex-girlfriend, Joe's ex-girlfriend, comes to grind on me, and I'm like, I don't really want to do that. And she's like, come on, it'll be fun. And so she did it, and I kind of let her because I wanted to fit in, I guess. But Joe found out, so he came up to me, and then he slapped me and he punched me. And he goes, dude, what the hell? Why would you do that? And And we talked to that. And I basically explained to him that I was at fault. I shouldn't have done that. I value more. I value you more than those other people. You know, I value what we have. And I wouldn't want to end that. And I want you to understand that I'm sorry. And that I really want to continue being friends with you. And he was like, you know, it was kind of a dick move for me to come up and hit you without any preface. So I'm sorry that I did that. Then we hugged. And I said, see you tomorrow. And that was it.
Was there anybody else there that saw this?
No. Not that I know of.
Confronted directly, Gregory freezes. An extended, calculated pause, silent while his mind races. Because up to now he's acted like his mother is simply missing, but now the conversation has escalated into a direct accusation of lying. And his reaction is striking. No anger, no indignation, no immediate denial, just a diversion. He asked the detective a question instead of defending himself. Classic. Not a defense, a detour.
In the parking lot, like, were you walking? Were you hanging out? I mean, how did this... Tell me about how he...
I was hanging out with my friends.
So you were there in the parking lot with other people?
Yeah.
Okay, well, can you name somebody with a first and last name?
Brian Torres.
Brian Porez?
Torres.
Spell it for me, bud. Give it a go.
P-O-R-E-Z.
P-O-R-E-Z? So,
Torres, yeah.
okay. What grade is he in?
He's a senior.
Is he in a class with you?
No. But yeah, no. He saw it all go down.
So Brian Porez saw Joe L. punch you in the face.
Yeah.
In the student parking lot yesterday at University High School.
Yes.
This becomes the first major confrontation. Pagliari states plainly, "You were involved in what happened to your mom." Then immediately tries to build a theme. Maybe Gregory was abused. Maybe Gail hit him. Maybe this was desperation. Offering a potential way out, a justification. But as pressure rises, Gregory seems to realize something. To maintain innocence, he needs to bring new revelations. Shocking ones.
That's 100%.
That's everything?
No, that's it. I mean, you're telling me that what you're telling me is the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. You're in school all day.
Yep, I have no reason to lie.
Should I believe everything that you told me today, Greg?
I mean, it's up to you.
Well, here's the thing, okay? Do you think that I'm not going to go or have some of my detectives go and run down your story and verify all these places you were at?
Yeah.
The timing of Gregory's new claims is highly questionable, and instead of addressing the accusation head-on, he pivots into a victim role. Misunderstood, manipulated, using the tactic investigators recognize as narrative control, reinforced by intense eye contact and a forward lean, as if he's measuring whether the room is buying the performance. He looks like someone preparing to confess, but he isn't confessing. He's testing, manipulating, searching for validation.
And when I do that, what are they going to tell me?
They're going to tell you it's truthful.
That you were in... you went to every class today.
I was late to 7th period, and I was in the auditorium 6th period. I don't think I mentioned that, but...
Okay. So you didn't take yourself out of school today at 1:10?
No, why?
So the school's wrong.
What do you mean?
So if the school tells me that Greg checked himself out of school today at 1:10 p.m., that's wrong.
Yeah, because I was there all day.
Okay. So if Mr. Dye tells me you weren't in school today, in his class, he's wrong.
No.
No, he's not wrong.
But I didn't leave the school.
So you lied to me.
Oh, I didn't leave the school. You asked if I left the school. I said no.
You lied to me. Period. I don't give a damn what it's about. You lied to me.
Yeah.
What happened?
When he says things like I said before, it becomes a linguistic shield, an attempt to create the illusion of consistency without repeating the exact lie. It's subtle, and it's calculated.
You know, I have a D in biology. I fell asleep in his class. And so I needed to get shit done. I needed to get on that grind. So I skipped into the auditorium 6th and 7th period. And I sat down and I took that time and I did my bio homework and the stuff I needed to do for bio because I'm missing a frick ton of assignments in there. I think I'm missing 6. Those need to be done.
So why would the school say you checked yourself out at 110?
Because I would show up absent for both of those classes. You can't check yourself out.
Gregory keeps shaping how everyone sees him, framing himself as the model son, repeating how much he cares, how good he is, how he'd never do anything like this, over and over. But a repetition is revealing. Truly innocent people rarely need to sell innocence. Truth doesn't beg.
Why'd you lie to me about stupid as biology?
Because I don't want you to have a bad opinion of me. Because I want you to understand I've done a lot of wrong things in my life. And I acknowledge that. I don't make the best decisions. But if something serious as this, or my mom is missing, I need you to, not have a bad opinion of me.
My opinion of you, Greg, is whatever you tell me. My job is not here to make judgments, good, bad, or indifferent. My job is to get as much as I can from you to help find your mother. Now, when you lie to me, even if it's a little bit, yeah, you lose some credibility. And you can get all upset and cry about it. That's just the way that it goes.
No, I get it.
You hear what I'm saying?
No, I hear what you're saying.
And then I get these things about, well, who's the guy that drove you? I don't know. Brian something.
Well, I didn't lie to you. I legitimately forgot his name the first time I was talking about him.
These things that you tell me, Greg, especially when you're not in school. Can anybody verify where were you when you did your biology homework?
In the auditorium.
So I want to see you on camera in the auditorium doing your biology homework.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I don't see that and I call you a liar again, am I right to do that?
Yeah. That's what you will see, so I'm not really worried about it.
Okay. All right. So if I were to hypothetically just say, or just to say, not even hypothetically, if I were to say that you went home last night, got in an argument with your mom for whatever reason, I guess it was the biology thing, right? Because I know she told your dad that you guys got in an argument about it. If I were to say that you went to school and then you came home, somehow you got home, I'm not sure how you got home, but you checked yourself out. Now again, give me some credit here. You checked yourself out, or you left school. Checking out. You just left. Somehow you got home. You get home, something happens to your mom, or you and your mom got into hands-on, you did something to your mom. Wouldn't that be far-fetched?
What do you mean?
You killed your mom.
Why would you think I would do that?
Even more striking is Gregory's boldness. At 15, he seems comfortable directing adults, telling Pagliari when to flip a page in his notes, like he's managing the interview. Then he begins describing the night before, ride home from Police Explorers, an argument about grades, and the story moves exactly where you'd expect, until it doesn't. Because what comes next takes a turn.
Hey, you guys have ups and downs. You got marks on your face. You told me Joel is the one that punched you in the face, but before you didn't say shit about it.
You didn't ask.
I did ask. I said, who was there? I don't know. Oh, maybe my friend was there. Your credibility with me, Greg, sometimes is up and down. So again, when I ask you, would it be far-fetched if you came home today and killed your mother?
Yeah.
You did kill your mother?
No.
Would it be far-fetched?
Yeah.
What?
Because I would never do something like that.
But she sent you. I know she sent you.
Gregory floods his account with excessive detail, unnecessary embellishments that look like honesty on the surface, but often function as cover, burying key events in a sea of irrelevant information. It's a known pattern, over-explaining to manage anxiety, derail the central question, and keep control. And the central question remains brutal in its simplicity. Where is Gail?
Have you ever been sexually assaulted?
No. Have you?
Yes.
Okay.
I have. I was assaulted. I reported it to the police. They did nothing. Okay. So the only person that was really there for me were my parents, and specifically my mom. My mom was the one who helped me through that dark time in my life. I felt I attempted to more than once, more than 3 times. She never put me in all facts. She never called the cops. She never did any of that. She helped me through that time in my life where I was in a bad place, and she saved me from myself. I love my mom more than anything. And we have our ups and downs and we have our problems, but I love her.
An hour earlier, Gregory subtly turned his chair away from his mentor, a small gesture, but one that suggests withdrawal, like he didn't want to be seen by the person whose opinion mattered most. That matters. Mentors can read you.
I was explaining to Detective Jones earlier. I had gotten into an argument with my mom maybe a year ago, and she sat me across the room and she said, "I'm scared of you." And I said, "Why?" She's like, "What if you lay your hands on me?" And I said, "I would never do that, because I would never do that. That's not something I would do. That's not something I would ever do. I would never lay my hands on my mother. She's done too much for me, too much for her family, for me to lay hands on my mother." You're a detective, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, do you want to know what happened today?
Yes.
Do you want to... Me and you want the same thing.
Yes.
We want to find my mom.
I wonder what happened to your mom.
I want to know what happened to my mom as well. And I don't think she's dead. Whatever. I try to think positively, but it's whatever. The point of the matter is, like I said before in our previous conversation,
His story keeps twisting, one moment overflowing with detail, the next withholding entirely. And the extremes show up physically: nose rubbing, touching his mouth, fidgeting with pen, then arms crossed again to rebuild the wall. These aren't proof, but they are pressure signals, and the pressure is climbing.
some mistakes in my life, and I regret them. And now I'm gonna voice my mistakes to you, so you can understand what happened. I don't know what happened to my mom. That's the first thing I want to get out. I don't know what happened to my mom, but I do know where I was. I know how everything conspired, and I know that I lied to you a lot because I wanted to protect my own name. But I realize now that after you asked me whether I killed my mom or not, I realized that there's something more important than just me, and that's my family. And in order to help my family and get them the answer that they want.
Eventually, Gregory circles back to the familiar narrative. Gail dropped him at school, the day was normal until 6th period. But the inconsistencies in the performance have already cast doubt over everything. The story is stained.
They just did deserve. I need to be completely honest with you. And so, that's what I'm going to do. So, flip the page and I'll tell you what happened.
Once again, Gregory paints himself as good and honest, confessing to small missteps, telling stories that make him look helpful, reliable, caring. Details that seem harmless but serve a purpose. Credibility padding before the detectives go deeper. It's persuasion, not transparency.
Around 11 o'clock on Thursday, I went to sleep. But I didn't really go to sleep. I just kind of went into my room and turned off the lights. I'm not allowed to have my phone in my room due to something we'll discuss soon. So I go at 11. No, wasn't 11. I waited until 12:30 until I went to my mom's room and got my phone.
Then Gregory says he basically went back home, stretches out, and pauses. Too long. Like he's trying to leap over a missing bridge in his narrative, and the pattern repeats throughout the interrogation, with pauses that feel less like normal hesitation and more like selective omission. He's skipping and trying not to show it.
I proceeded to call my friends to come pick me up, and I snuck out of my window, and I got picked up by my friends. I then went to we drove around town, first off. We did that for about an hour.
After hours of questioning, Gregory starts dropping fragments that look irrelevant at first, but Pagliari suspects they are not, because sometimes the truth doesn't arrive as a clean confession. It leaks out in pieces before the person realizes what they're giving away. And something about these fragments feels critical, unavoidably critical.
In that hour or two, I smoked a lot of cigarettes, drank a lot of alcohol, did a lot of shit. But, so whatever, right? It's now 1:30, I believe. And I'm back. And we go to where me and my friends we're in the car. And I have to understand, while my friends did come, quote unquote, pick me up, I was the one driving. And I wasn't, and while I had some drinks, I wasn't drunk. I wasn't drunk driving. Like, I was fully lucid and conscious. So I was driving my mom's minivan. And we drove to this church, and there's a fire pit in the back. And so me and my friends smoked a bit there, drank there. I popped an LSD tab, so did my other friends. Just kind of chilled there, and we would go back and forth between my house to get more money to go to 7-Eleven or other places and get food or drinks or snacks in general. So we traveled a lot between this fire pit and my house, in which case afterwards, and then it was like...
Throughout the exchange, Pagliari mirrors Gregory's language, rapport building, through verbal echoing, because just as mirroring posture can lower defenses, mirroring speech patterns can make someone feel understood and keep them talking. And talking is the goal, always.
I hopped in to my house. I was wearing black boots and jeans and a gray t-shirt. And I got in my house and I started getting ready for school. Put my bio textbook in my backpack, just started getting ready, etc., etc., etc.
Gregory's word choice is telling too. He repeats, obviously, a subtle push to make his narrative feel undeniable, because repetition is a psychological tool. The more you hear it, the more true it starts to feel. For Gregory, it's another method of manufacturing reality inside that room, even if reality doesn't agree.
1:10, after fifth period, I met up with my friends. We walked off campus. Stopped to go to the bathroom in the woods. It's not really necessary detail, but that is what happened. And then piled in my friend's car, and we drove to my house. We picked up some more money. Then we drove to the fire pit again, and we smoked more cigarettes there, talked. One of my friends, this is the same kid that was suicidal, and I snuck out of the night for him, but I didn't just sneak out. I stole my mom's car like I did Thursday night, and I had driven over to his house, and I talked to himself. And so this is one of the kids, and so we were just talking about life problems and how to deal with them and just all this shit.
Gregory insists he already gave his alibi, and it lands as unusual. Not a clean denial, but a fixation on the story itself, clinging to it like it's armor. He's not defending facts, he's defending the narrative.
Shooting the shit at this fireplace and smoking cigarettes and just kind of chilling. And then we basically went back home and they dropped me off. And then
For the first time, Gregory looks genuinely flustered. The self-soothing has been there all along, but this moment has a different weight, like he's realizing he isn't clearing suspicion, he's deepening it. And what he doesn't realize yet is that the interview is about to turn in a way he cannot control.
it's pretty much the same. I noticed my mom's car was there. The lights were on. I walked into the house. Everything was everywhere. Door busted and all that shit, whatever. I already told you. Went through my house looking for my mom. Wasn't anywhere to be found. Blah, blah, blah. Called the police.
Detectives begin introducing doubts, suggesting friends might not back him up, leveraging a classic prisoner's dilemma dynamic by planting uncertainty and using that uncertainty as pressure. It's strategic, and it works.
Who were you with last night? What's their names?
Brian Porras and Dylan Square.
How do you get out of the house?
Window.
Or your bedroom?
Yeah.
You're wearing black boots, jeans, black jeans, right?
Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I dumped all of this clothing because I smelled like smoke.
Okay. So black boots, though, black jeans.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They weren't black jeans, but they were just jeans.
Blue jeans?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then pink or purple or gray, they're just standard blue.
Yeah.
Gray t-shirt.
Yeah.
Pagliari gives Gregory one final chance to tell the truth before his story meets hard evidence. The clock is ticking, and the room knows it.
You and Dylan, who else?
Brian.
You picked up Brian in Dothan also?
Yes.
Mom's minivan?
It was us three.
It was
Us three.
Us, you three.
Yeah.
You drank? What were you drinking?
Alcohol.
What type? Like a beer, liquor?
Tequila.
Tequila. Okay. Who brought the tequila to the party?
Dylan.
Tequila. Smoking what?
Cigarettes.
Just cigarettes?
Yes.
And these guys, Dylan and Brian, dropped you off today
Correct.
at your house.
Well, I told you they dropped me off at,
Right here. Winn-Dixie? Or no, where the hell are you talking about? Where's that place they said they dropped you?
This is High Banks. So they dropped me off here, and I walked the rest of the distance.
So it's not possible that Dylan and Brian came to your house after they dropped you off, stole your shit and killed your mom. Is that possible?
Well, I'd see them drive past me.
Okay. Well, I have to ask because, again, I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened to your mom.
They're definitely accounted for because I saw them throughout the school day. And so if whatever happened to my mom, I don't even know what the fuck happened, but whatever happened to my mom, it happened during the school day, obviously, because when I got home, she wasn't there and the house was ransacked. So obviously something, whatever.
Meanwhile, across the station, detectives interview Gregory's friend, Dylan Categorically, and neither Gregory nor investigators anticipate how pivotal Dylan's testimony is about to become, because the direction of this entire case is about to swing on what Dylan says and what he accidentally reveals. This will change everything, almost immediately.
So none of that's missing. You getting taped to go trade for drugs or anything else?
No.
Okay. Did your friends?
No.
Okay. Now, you understand that, hopefully you understand, that this could have been flushed out hours ago.
Yeah, I do.
So I want to give you some credibility. I mean, what's that got to do with, you said you want your to have answers. This isn't any answers for me. I mean, this is you going out, being a teenager, stealing your mom's car, and doing some shit. I thought you were going to tell me that you know what happened to your mother. Like, somebody killed your mom?
I don't know what happened. I already told you.
Okay.
I'm giving you my alibi, so you know I didn't off my mom.
The discrepancies hit fast. Dylan claims not to know who Joel is, a detail Gregory mentioned earlier. And Dylan's explanation for the scratches on Gregory's face point toward a different, more violent story. Even more telling is how Dylan describes their friendship. Gregory portrayed them like brothers, even claiming he once saved Dylan during a serious personal crisis. But Dylan downplays the connection with none of the loyalty Gregory sold. The inconsistencies don't equal proof, but they crack the foundation. And suddenly, Gregory's story looks fragile under outside scrutiny.
You're getting hostile on me, are you? I'm here to help you.
Yeah, no, but it's not, I'm not trying to get hostile. It's
Okay.
just the fact that,
Well, you have to understand that you could have told me this before, but now, did this guy, Joe, punch you in the face yesterday? Is that legit?
yeah, it is.
At first, Dylan is cautious, measuring every word, fully aware his statements carry consequences. But later, believing the cameras have stopped, his guard drops completely. And he says things far more shocking than he understands, unaware every second is still being recorded. Unknown to him, it's all on tape.
Okay. So Brian saw the guy punch you in his face. Did Dylan see this guy punch you in the face?
No, he wasn't there.
He wasn't there, but Brian's gonna vouch for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure, because again, I wanna, if you can't understand that I'm taking some of the things that you say with a grain of salt.
For now, detectives gather background information, then move quickly to verify Dylan's version, cross-referencing every detail. Because verification is where stories die. Or survive.
No, I fully understand.
Okay.
But yeah. So neither one of them know that my mom is missing.
It becomes clear Dylan and another friend, Brian, were extremely close and spent much of the day together. And to cover every angle, investigators bring Brian in as well. 2 stories, same day. Now they have to match.
I want you to look at me real quick, because what I'm about to tell you, I want you to understand the magnitude of it.
Okay.
Okay? So, earlier in our conversation, I've been very transparent with you. I've told you some of our tactics and things that we're going to do. I told you that we're going to verify your story, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, one aspect of your story, obviously, is to run down Brian and Dylan, okay, who you said you were with last night, and who you're with today, okay?
Correct.
So, think carefully about this.
Okay.
What do you think Dylan or Brian is going to say?
Like about me?
Yes.
They're probably going to act like they don't know me. Or they'll verify everything I've said.
Why would they act that they don't know you?
They don't want to get involved.
Involved in what?
Like, involved with my problems. I guess, I don't know. Point of the matter is, yeah, if you go run them down whenever you do that, whenever you want to do it.
Like right now we're doing it.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll verify my story.
They're going to do what?
They'll verify what I'm saying.
Which is that you have nothing to do with the murder of your mother.
My mom was murdered?
What do you think?
I don't know. I didn't think she was murdered.
Initially, Dylan's and Brian's accounts appear consistent, but it doesn't last. Cracks begin forming, and once a crack appears, detectives widen it.
What's going on, man?
Not much. How you doing today?
Steve Wheeler, I'm a detective with the Sheriff's Office, Detective Mike Cox. How are you?
Pretty alright. How you doing?
Mind if we have a moment of your time?
Yeah. You already have an idea what you're doing? Anybody contact you about anything? No. Okay. Have you talked to Greg today?
I saw him at school.
How good of friends are you guys?
I mean, I talked to him, but we're not like super close.
Okay. Who is he super close with?
I don't really know. I don't talk to him that much to really find out. I only have like 2 close friends myself, so.
Okay. Who are your close friends?
There's Brian. He's a really good friend of mine. And then, yeah, really Brian. He's like the only person I talk to on a daily basis.
What's his last name?
Porras.
Porras?
Porras.
Do you know another kid named Joey? Joey Jr. or something like that? That may be friends with Greg?
No. I mean, I don't know people by names really. So like I might have seen him, but I don't know him.
Dylan slips up in a way that triggers immediate red flags. Gregory reports that his bow is stolen, yet Dylan appears to have it, creating an unavoidable implication. Either Dylan stole it, or Gregory lied about the burglary. There isn't a clean third option. Someone's story is fake.
Have you ever gone to Greg's house?
Yeah. I'm in a Greg's house.
Okay. What do you think the last time was you were over there?
I mean, probably last time I worked with him, right? Yeah, last time I worked with him. So, Saturday.
Okay, so recent.
Is he okay, though?
So, Greg's fine.
Okay.
Dad's fine. Everybody's fine except his mom. That's the problem, is his mom is gone.
We don't know where she's
We
at.
have no idea where this lady is at. We have zero idea where this lady is at.
And that's why we're here talking to you, because we know you're friends with Greg.
Yeah, I was just worried for him.
Yeah.
Greg's fine.
I mean, it looks like he got in a fight. He said he got in a fight today at school, which is why we were trying to figure out what was going on there, because it's going with all the leads that we possibly can. So
Dylan insists he's telling the truth, but his statements increasingly conflict with what Brian is telling detectives in another room. And when two stories diverge under pressure, investigators don't ask who's nervous, they ask who's trapped.
she's missing today. Yeah,
Yes.
she's missing today. She's missing right now, and they have no idea where this lady went. There's some unusual circumstances around it that it's abnormal, and
Enough abnormality to get a bunch of detectives out here.
yeah, we were both at home, and they called us and said, "Hey, we need you guys to come in. We can start talking."
Brian repeats the detective's question, a common stalling tactic, then repeats part of it again moments later, raising suspicion about why a simple memory needs so much time to manufacture. Because that's what stalling is, manufacturing time.
The only time you saw Greg today was in the morning and in the afternoon at lunch, and you haven't seen him since?
I didn't really see him, no.
What do you mean you didn't really see him?
I didn't face-to-face kind of thing. I saw him walking, but
When?
after lunch and then before I left.
Okay, but not out of school.
No,
And Greg never left early and got a ride with you guys at all?
no. I was with Brian.
The inconsistencies mount, pressure rises, Dylan's composure crumbles, and the story that held together at first begins unraveling piece by piece. Then Dylan cracks. Finally.
How you doing, sir? Oh, you Brian?
Shut up! Yeah.
Hey, Brian, I'm Detective Wheeler. This is Detective Johnson.
Yeah.
We need to talk to you. So if we come in and talk to you?
Here, let me step out real quick. Sorry, you just woke me up.
Sorry, man. All right, well, here's the deal, man. We need to talk to you about that burglary that happened over at Greg's house today.
Okay.
You know anything about it?
He messaged me that something happened. That's all I've heard, though.
Yeah. Did you see Greg today?
At school.
What time?
From last I saw him was lunch.
Did you see him after lunch?
What?
Did you see him after lunch?
No, I was in class. That's really one of the last times I saw him.
With Dylan's confession, the puzzle starts snapping into place. The stolen items are accounted for, the burglary narrative collapses, and what began as a routine call reveals itself as something far darker and more complex than officers at that front room could have imagined. But the confession doesn't just explain the items. It points straight back to Gregory. And then Dylan delivers a revelation that shifts the case into nightmare territory.
I want Greg to have how do I describe this? A mean streak, per se, in him. You ever seen him get angry?
Anger issues?
Angry, yeah. Any indication that he has it in him. Does he have a lot of anger built up? Does he have a lot of animosity against anything or anyone?
Have hate towards anything, but he has anger, yeah.
What's he have anger about?
Just, he's like anyone, something little, it just make him angry out of nowhere.
Did you ever see him snap?
No, I've never seen him snap.
How do you know he has anger?
Because I've just seen him angry, about stuff.
What kind of things?
I didn't really ask about it. It's not really my thing to know.
How did he act when he was angry? I mean, does he shut down? Does he get fired up?
He shuts down. He just doesn't want to talk to anyone when he gets angry.
Has he given you anything to hold of his from that house?
Last week he let me borrow his bow, if you want that.
What'd you borrow it for?
I just thought it was cool. I actually don't even know how to shoot it.
So what'd you borrow it for?
I thought it was cool.
So you thought it would just be cool to have in your room?
Yeah. I collect stuff like that. I have a knife that's also a lighter. Just interesting stuff.
What were you going to do with the bow? Look at it?
Yeah, pretty much.
You were going to shoot it at all?
I don't know.
Was there arrows with it?
No. It was just the bow. I had no idea how to shoot it. So
that kind of seems odd, though.
Most thing I've ever shot is a BB gun, to be honest.
After hours of interrogation, the truth begins surfacing, but even with horrific information in hand, gaps remain. Key gaps. And Brian stays reluctant, holding back a detail that could change everything. That reluctance is a problem, because reluctance is leverage, and detectives know how to pull.
I'm gonna ask you a couple more things. Yeah, swear from the information you're about to give me is true and correct to the best of your knowledge. Okay. You and Greg left school together today, didn't you? Okay. You didn't walk off campus today?
I walked off campus.
Did Greg walk with you?
I walked with Brian.
Okay, you walked with Brian. And where did you walk to?
To Brian's truck.
Okay.
Tractor.
His what?
Tractor.
His tractor. And you went where?
I went here.
And what did you do when you got here?
I grabbed my clothes.
Okay.
Me and Brian drove around. And
They apply more pressure, invoking the prisoner's dilemma again. There's more than one prison here. Driving home, that silence won't protect him if Dylan already talked. And if Dylan talked, the game is over. Brian knows it.
I picked up Greg this morning, right? After I picked up Dylan. And then there's morning times I really don't talk to them. I just pick them up and bring them to school because I'm tired. I'm not a morning person at all. And then I went to school, went through my classes like usual. Lunchtime, I saw him, okay? And then after lunch, that's really like one of the last times I saw him, so.
What time do you leave school?
Sometimes he goes to his 7th, sometimes he doesn't.
What time did you leave school?
What time did I leave?
Both boys now implicate Gregory in Gail's death, and even if Brian tries to distance himself by claiming they didn't believe Gregory's words, the explanation rings hollow because he still helped stage the scene. That's not passive, that's participation. And as detectives prepare to brief Pagliari, another issue emerges. Dylan begins to break down, the weight of truth and his role visibly hitting him.
Left after 5th period.
Who'd you take with you?
With me, it was me and Dylan. And Greg, but I took him home.
Where did you go?
I took him back
to his house.
One detective stays back to comfort Dylan, while another urgently contacts Pagliari, and with this new information in hand, Pagliari prepares for a final confrontation with Gregory. Yet, even now, no one anticipates the chilling words Gregory is about to say. Not even close. Not even in their worst case scenario.
walked off campus. We went to his house. He gave me his stuff to hold.
What stuff?
I can show you.
Tell us what it is.
He gave me his gaming laptop, his gaming PC. He gave me his bow that I borrowed.
Today?
Hold that.
He gave you his personal computer too? And the bow?
And the bow.
Why did he give you? So it's a laptop, a gaming laptop, a PC, and a bow?
It's a gaming PC.
Okay. Gaming PC, a bow, and what else?
Don't know what else, honestly.
And then what?
Why did he give them to you to hold? Did he tell you?
He said he was in trouble, so he gave me it. And I drove off. I came here. I put it in my closet. And I went to work. After he gave me the stuff, I went to work. I didn't do anything else. I have a job to do.
Okay. Why did he say he was giving you that stuff?
What kind of trouble is he in?
I don't know what kind of trouble is he in, but got there and the house looked really torn up. So he told me to take the stuff. I mean, I get what it was looking like.
So you got to the house with Greg and Brian.
Just the driver.
Did Brian get out? Did you all go inside the house?
We got to the door. He ran in. I looked inside. I could see it all messed up. He ran out, gave me that, gave me the bow. He threw a couple of the things that we ended up just throwing out. And then I came back here.
What did you throw out?
We threw out like a computer and a printer and just like small stuff like that.
Threw it out where?
We just found a random dumpster and threw it in there.
Where's this random dumpster?
The Winn-Dixie parking lot.
Pagliari sits down again, and Gregory's body language is striking. Complete stillness, eyes locked, intensity unwavering, like he's trying to control the moment through sheer force of will. But his reaction is what stands out most. No anger, no outrage, no shock at betrayal. An innocent person would likely show disbelief, indignation, rage, something. Gregory shows none of it. just control.
Sorry for lying.
I know, but now's the time to get it all out, all of it. So tell us what happened.
I mean, he's done this much. He's given you personal items for you to hide or to hold. That's not suspicious to you, and it's not suspicious to you that you guys hold on.
Dylan knows. He knows.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Tell us.
Yep.
Tell us what happened.
It's okay, man. It's not on you.
Pretty much what happened. Me and Brian were driving to school this morning, and he called me and Brian. Said, "Hey, something big happened." He wouldn't say it on the phone, so me and him had to go get him. Then he gets in the car, and he says, "I did it. I really did it. I killed my mother." So we drove to school. We did the entire day. We left early, and we get back to the house. He says, "Take this."
Greg did say something happened to his mother. It was kind of fuzzy because he seemed like he was kind of shooken up. So he said something happened, and like I said, he was really shooken. So he told me something about how his house is messed up. So we went over there, and he asked if I could take some of his stuff, right? He said he needed to get rid of some of the stuff in his house. So we go in there, and we grab some of the stuff out of his house.
So you did go in the house?
Yes. And we put it in the tracker. And he told us what needed to be like kept and what needed to be thrown away. So we stopped and we threw away, like you said, the printer, the jukebox. Yeah. Where else did we stop? The church, right up there in High Banks.
What happened at the church, buddy?
Greg he put one of the, like a trunk, he put that in the water.
What was in the trunk, buddy?
A whole bunch of random stuff. Like just junk that you'd see at like a garage sale.
From Gregory, there's only cold, calculating silence, and backed into a corner with nowhere left to run, he holds out as long as he can until something inside him finally breaks and he confesses in a flat, detached manner. One of the most chilling admissions these seasoned detectives have ever heard. No drama, no tears, just the words.
What was said? What did Greg tell you? Don't cover up for Greg.
I'm not trying to cover for Greg.
If he said it, then he said it, and then you did what you did, and that can be explained. Mm-hmm. But don't sit here and just continue to lie to us. All right?
Okay.
You and Greg are buddies.
There's more than one person here. It's not just you. Remember that.
Even in confession, Gregory tries to twist the narrative to center himself, portraying himself as overwhelmed and using emotional framing to soften what he's admitting. It's manipulation through self-focus. But what disturbs investigators isn't just the attempt to control the story, it's the cold, emotionless delivery. That's what lends. That's what lingers.
Other parties involved. It's not just you, okay?
So it's not like we came here blind. Looking for answers.
Yeah, I can tell that by how much you guys already know and all that, so.
Just tell us what he said.
He said that he's telling me that, like, an argument, but not really argument, but he told me that, like, it's hard to say. It's
just
honestly.
Just say it. We've probably already heard it.
He said that he killed his mother, and I didn't really believe it, so.
Okay, all right.
He reinforces his version with referral statements like I said, repeated again and again, attempting to stitch lies to fragments of truth and create the illusion of consistency. But the performance is as cold as it is disturbing, revealing more about Gregory's mindset than he ever intended. It's not a confession to him, it's a narrative exercise, a control play.
You okay? I know your history. I just want to make sure that you're not thinking about harming yourself or anything. Dylan, you okay? I know it's tough.
Feel anything for it.
You don't feel anything for what? What do you mean you don't feel anything for it?
There's like a part of me that knows I should feel bad, but I can't feel anything for it. I don't know what to do.
Listen, just do what you're doing. Sitting here talking to me, okay? I can understand. You're probably not feeling anything because you haven't really processed it yet. You haven't processed what happened.
Gregory frames what he did as preemptive self-defense, but no explanation can make the act acceptable. And as the interrogation continues, he provides more information about the attack without the emotional weight you'd expect from someone recounting something so serious. It's clinical, detached, unnatural.
You think, and I'm going to ask you this, I've asked this before. Okay. Because in your hearts of hearts, looking at me face to face, are you a man of integrity? Do you know what that is?
I do know what it is.
Okay. Are you a person of integrity?
I don't think I have the best character. I think I have character flaws, but on the up and up, usually I try to be as honest as possible. And when I'm not, it's because I'm being selfish. And I can admit that.
Okay.
I tend to be selfish, and that's a problem I have. But,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I want you. I'm going to do this. I want you to look at me right in my eyes. Okay? I'm going to look like this. And I'm going to ask you, did you kill your mother, take things from your house, distribute them amongst your friends, come in here today and lie to my face and say that you didn't do that?
No.
No what?
I didn't do that.
You didn't kill your mother?
No.
At times, Gregory struggles to articulate his reasoning, dropping oddly phrased lines like, "I didn't think that was fitting," language that feels bizarre in the context of a confession, and even while admitting what happened, he keeps twisting it toward justification, as if he's trying to convince the room, or himself, that his distorted framing is reality. It doesn't land as believable. It lands as warped and chilling.
So, sit back down. I don't believe you.
Why?
Well, the good news about it is that all those things that were missing from your house, we found them.
Where?
You tell me. I give you a clue. It's one of your buddies.
Are you saying my friends robbed my house?
Is that what you took out of this? Is that I'm saying that your friends robbed your house? The same friends who, by the way, were at school all day and who dropped you off. Here, I'll refer to your little map here, bud. Remember this. They dropped you right here on High Banks and whatever the hell this road is. And I asked you earlier, is it possible that your two friends could have went to your mom's house and killed your mom and taken those things?
And
you said that's impossible because they would have been driven past you and then you would have saw them. The time is up, Greg. The time is up. We found the stuff.
Okay.
Okay? Your buddies turned us onto it. Now you need to tell me what happened, because they've already told me what happened, told my pals what happened. So you need to come to Jesus. You're a religious man. You prayed with your mom. You need to tell me what happened.
So what did they tell you?
I'm not telling you what they told me because I don't have to tell you what they told me. You tell me what happened.
I already told you what happened.
Tell me you didn't kill your mother.
I didn't.
Who killed your mother?
I have zero clue.
Who took the to your house?
Well, you just told me. Apparently it's my friends.
And when did you think they did that?
I have zero clue.
Do you honestly believe the things that are coming out of your mouth?
Yeah.
So when your buddy says that you told him you killed your mother, he's lying.
His tone stays crude and unnervingly detached as he describes what he did after Gail was gone. No pause, no cracking voice, just narration.
Good, whatever. Alright, I'll tell you what happened. Alright, so I got home, I got in an argument with my mom. She slapped me across the face. She began to hit me. She started beating me. I didn't like it, so I strangled her to death.
Carries disturbing contrasts. Casual language colliding with the gravity of what he's admitting. It's dissonant, and it's hard to listen to.
Around Daytona, I dropped the wheelbarrow in some random ass location, and I drove back to the church. I began to dig a hole. I dig a hole right under the fire pit. I dug a pretty deep hole. Pretty deep, deep enough to fit a body in. All right. All this time, my mom's decomposing body. I dragged it from my car to the fire pit. In which case, I tried to cut the wedding ring off her finger because I wanted to pawn it, but I couldn't because I didn't have a knife strong enough to cut bones. Oh well, whatever. Anyways, so I dug that hole, threw her body in there, filled it back in, made it look all nice and natural. Dumped my clothes, and then I went home and I caught a ride to school with my friends, and yeah.
What about the part that you staged a crime scene?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. Oh, so in the middle of the night, I realized that, hey, my mom just up and disappears. That's not going to make any sense. So I decided to make it look like a box robbery. So I just went to my house and I just threw shit everywhere, which looked pretty convincing. Yeah.
And yeah, again, not what I want to hear. Why did you drag your two buddies into this and give them the stolen shit?
Because I needed to get rid of it.
At one point, Gregory's repeated blah 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 comments reveal a weird duality, flashes of intelligence mixed with childish immaturity, something you might dismiss in a typical teen, but tied to a confession like this, it becomes deeply unsettling. It isn't teen talk, it's detachment.
I think you have to realize that with my mom beating up and hitting on me, it wasn't like me being like, I've waited ages for this, and then I kill her. No, this was extremely out of impulse, out of me getting beaten the shit out of me. So I just was like, I'm done with it. So I grabbed her neck and I strangled her. So it was out of complete impulse, which doesn't make it any better. But the point of the matter is, I was shaken up, obviously.
So your mother talked to your father on the phone. When did you strangle your mother?
I don't know, 12, 12:30.
Where was she at when you did it?
What?
Where was she?
In the room.
Which room?
Her room.
Sleeping?
No, she woke up.
She woke up after you had your hands around her throat?
No, she woke up when I entered her room.
And what happened then?
She's like, what are you doing?
What did you say?
And I said, listen, you have to understand that I was not. The stuff that is on my face right now was a lot worse, and I wasn't feeling good. And I said, why did you have to hit me? I said, you said that you wouldn't do that again, but you did it anyways. Why did you have to do that? And she's like, well, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You
stop.
Yeah.
Whatever, blah, 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 bullshit. We covered that.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. What'd she say?
She was like, well, you were being a dick. And is that really important?
Let it out. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's important. I want you to tell me.
No. Does that really warrant? Not important. Does that really warrant? I wasn't being a dick. I already explained to you the conversation that I had with her. All right. It's still about my bio grade. It's still about all that shit, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the same conversation I had with her. But it's the same conversation. It's just, like I said, it escalated to screaming and yelling, and then she started hitting me. And I did not hit back. I did not punch her back. Because, like I said, I wouldn't do that.
Gregory continues narrating his actions without hesitation, describing the aftermath in an almost mechanical way that strips the moments of humanity and replaces it with process, procedure, steps, like a checklist.
I realized that if I let her keep on beating me around and basically letting her just do whatever she wanted, that eventually it was either going to be me or her. And so I made a decision.
Then he makes an offhand comment about the smell while casually describing listening to music and speaking with ease, a moment that reveals something beyond lack of remorse and absence of empathy so complete it shocks even experienced detectives. It's not just cold, it's empty.
Around her neck? Was she facing you when you did it?
Yeah.
You extend your arms and put your hands around her throat?
Yes.
And squeezed?
Yeah.
What did she do?
I mean, what can you do in that situation?
You tell me what she was doing.
Well, I forced her onto the ground and I was strangling her. And she was trying, she was clawing my arm, she was whatever. I mean, you can probably see on my hand where in this crease here, I was putting so much stress on it because I was over it. I realized that it was either her getting so angry with me one day that she just takes out a kitchen knife and stabs me, or it was me getting so angry with her that I strangled her to death. And so I took the latter because I didn't want her to kill me. I didn't think that was fitting. That wouldn't have worked out. So I just took action instead.
Detectives also notice a shift in speech patterns. Once he begins confessing, his words come faster and more fluidly, like this is his natural pace, unlike earlier, when he slowed down, as if trying to appear controlled and careful. The mask slips. The real rhythm shows.
You forced her to the floor, and you choked the life out of her. How'd that make you feel?
I felt nothing.
How long did it take?
30 minutes.
You choked your mother on the floor to death for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
How'd you know she was dead?
Okay, well, let me rephrase this. I choked her to death, and I thought she was dead, and I went to go get the wheelbarrow, and then she was moving, so I had to get back on top of her and finish the job. And then once she wasn't resisting when I was dragging her dead body across the floor, I knew she was dead.
Then comes another revelation. Gail's remains aren't the only thing Gregory hid in the woods that night. And the way he acknowledges it, casual, almost proud, adds a new layer of dread. Worst of all, he sounds comfortable.
Well, listen, dead bodies are heavy. They're a pain in the ass to carry. I was like, all right, well, this is easy. Simple fireman's carry, right? I'm just going to pick her up, whatever, bring her to the car, throw her in there. Nah, this is heavy. So I got the wheelbarrow. I dragged her out to the stairs, and then I positioned the wheelbarrow in the way so I could basically like muscle her body into the wheelbarrow just perfect enough to where I could get her into the car, actually into the wheelbarrow without having to, whatever, break my back.
Okay. So you take her to the car. Where do you put her in the minivan?
I just shoved her in there.
In the very back?
Yeah. Open up the trunk, just kind of. I put 2 belts around her legs, and then I dragged her into the car.
2 belts around her legs and dragged her into the car?
Yeah, I tied 2 belts. I had like a belt around her ankle and a belt around her ankle, and then I tied them together, and I used it as a crutch.
So you were in the van and just dragged her, like, from the inside the van and dragged her from the wheelbarrow into the back of the van?
Yeah, it was a bit to do, but yeah, I did.
So you pull her into the back of the car, and then where do you go?
Well, I threw a wheelbarrow in there, and I was like, and I got the shovel, and I was like, okay, let's do this. Whatever, it's easy. No. Then I had a mental breakdown. I was like, holy shit, blah, blah, whatever.
Nope. Blah, 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 whatever. What's that mean? Fill it in.
Like, whatever, holy shit, what am I doing? And, or whatever, destroying my future, blah, 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 whatever.
His comments, "Oh yeah, it looks so legit," underscores how unnervingly at ease he is discussing what happened, and it reads like a twisted bravado. The same bravado that showed up earlier when he tried to direct adults in an interrogation room, like he ran the place. Confidence is one thing, this is something else, something darker.
It's basically reasoning with myself. Do I deserve to live? And I realized that I did the thing I did out of self-defense. I mean, sure, she wasn't hitting me in the moment, but it would have eventually just gotten worse and worse and worse. It's always gotten worse and worse and worse over the years. But it was just a matter of time. I was on the highway, I was driving and then I realized, I had lots of thoughts going through my head. My original thought was, what if I just dump my mom's body in some random ass location with a wheelbarrow and then I just go on the run, right? And then I realized where the fuck would I go? I mean, I had my sister's house in Michigan, yeah, but she just turned me into the cops and whatever, I'm not going to get out of the country in whatever, how many hours they find her body. So it's not worth it. And I was like, well, I could just go into oncoming traffic. I mean, it's really busy in this area for some reason. I could just move my car into oncoming traffic and myself. And I was like, nah, it's a pussy ass way to go. I'm not going to do that. Right? So I just decided, I guess we're just back at square one. So I'm going to go back to where I started.
As Pagliari works to piece together the full account, Gregory seizes opportunities to showcase ego, arrogance, spilling into moments where most people would shrink under shame. He doesn't shrink, he expands.
Drove the body back to the church, began to dig the hole, realized that my phone flashlight's not going to be enough, go back to the house, get a new flashlight. Then, this is me. When I'm talking about me going back to my house to get money, it's just me trying to make excuses for my phone being in certain places. I should have just trashed my phone like I did with my mom's, but I didn't really want to do that because I was listening to music and I was gonna get caught anyway, so there's no point. And so I get a couple candles, I get flashlights, I get whatever, and I get the area lit up. Dig, realized that the body smells terrible. It smells like shit. Jesus Christ, you smell a dead body?
Do I smell a dead body? Yes, sir, I have.
Yeah, they smell like shit.
Meanwhile, detectives confirm what has become increasingly clear. Dylan and Brian played a direct role in helping Gregory cover up the crime, and both are detained as Pagliari brings Gregory's interview to a close. The circle tightens. Everyone is now inside it.
Really clean up. So I went to my house, got a can of bleach, and I was like, okay, when I get the body in there, I'll pour the bleach on it and just make it smell sterile before I cover it back up with dirt. I was like, okay, that seems like a pretty good plan, whatever. It's like, 4:30? And I decided, all right, so we dump the body and then we fill back up, and then at 5:30 we go back. So
we?
Myself.
Okay, so you're talking about we being yourself, nobody else is there. This is just you.
Yeah, it's just me. So, anyways, done with the whole So kicked the body in the hole, but it doesn't fit. So I had to kind of cram her in there. I don't know if I broke any bones, whatever. Poured the bleach on her, put the dirt over her, and I mean, when you go out there, you'll see it. It looks perfectly natural. Doesn't look like there's anything.
How'd you mask the hole? What'd you do?
Well, it was a fire pit, so I literally just threw the dirt back on it, moved the rocks around. It looks perfectly fine.
So she's in the fire pit, or under the fire pit?
Yeah.
Okay.
But even in the final moments, Gregory's apathy remains, like the emotional gravity never reaches him. He doesn't react like someone crushed by consequence. He reacts like someone reviewing a story.
What else is in the woods?
What else is in there?
Mm-hmm.
The broom I used to sweep the drag marks away.
Okay.
Because when you're dragging a dead body, like I said, I trashed the wheelbarrow on Holly Hills, which was a dumbass move because I still needed to get the body out from the trunk of my car and bring it down to this area, right? But I realized whatever, blah, 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 dumb. So if I hadn't wasted maybe an hour and a half, I probably would have gotten away with it. But I did waste that hour and a half because I needed to come to terms with what I did. Anyways, I dragged her body with the two belts I had tied to her ankles. I dragged it all the way to the fire pit. And, you know, like when you're dragging the body on leaves and palm fronds and whatnot, that collects quite a lot of shit, to be frank.
So is there anything else? I mean, you said that there's a shovel in the woods, a broom in the woods. How about any of the stolen shit? Or the stuff that you took from the house?
There's more. Yeah, there's stolen shit. There's nothing big. It's like all the small shit. And I just kind of chucked it in there because no one else wanted it, and I needed to get rid of it. So there's a cache of stolen shit in the lake behind the fire pit, but it's probably all whatever. By the way, in the woods by the fire pit, I don't know. I couldn't point out to you exactly, but there's 2 laptops and the .30 caliber gun right behind the fire pit in the woods. And obviously, you know where the rest of the stuff is.
I do. Go back to before you left your house with your mother's body in the van, you started staging the crime scene. Is that right? You said you took some of the stolen shit out?
Yeah.
What, not stolen. You took what'd you take out of the house first, and then while your mother's body was in the van?
Well, I just kind of figured, like, well, I need to get everything out. I was like, well, not everything, but like, you know, I was like, how can I make this look legit? I was like, I can't just like make my mom disappear and then like head to school and be like, oh, everything's okay. I was like, that's not going to work. So I need to make it look like something happened, like a botched robbery or something. And you got to admit, I don't know if you saw the house. Do you see the house?
I haven't gone inside yet, though. I see your work.
It looks quite nice.
Okay.
It looks quite legit.
It's weird. Why is there all this crap up here spilled? There's a broken glass here. I saw this shit broken, dude.
He even boasts about the 911 call, proud of it. Yet, that call was one of the earliest red flags, because when the operator asked for the emergency location, Gregory didn't answer directly. He launched into narrative. He starts it at the beginning. That's not how panic talks. That's how performance starts.
Of everything, and I grabbed everything of value, and I kind of just threw it in the van, and yeah.
But some of the stuff you gave to your friends. When did you give some of that to your friends?
After school.
After school?
Yeah, I needed, there wasn't any time. I was planning, what I was going to plan to do is I was going to drive up to the Sunrail and leave my mom's car there and dump the bike somewhere and make it look like that she went to Orlando and that she just got whatever. And I think actually if I hadn't made the botched robbery and I just kind of drove the car up there and lost the bike and gotten picked up by my friends, and we kind of like just kept hush-hush about it, and I killed my mom and put her under the fire pit, you guys probably would have never caught me because you'd probably think that she got mugged in Orlando and died, and that probably would have made a lot more sense. But I didn't think it through because I was impulse thinking and I was doing everything on a whim. So if I had more time to think it through, I probably would have done other things, but that's whatever.
Okay. So you went to school, though?
Oh, yeah.
How did you get to school?
Brian Dill picked me up in front of my house. I was wearing jeans covered in dirt, as well as boots covered in dirt. You'll find those in the woods with the broom and the shovel. But I was wearing no shirt. I just grabbed a random shirt and some soap and a washcloth. And then when I got to school, I wiped all the dirt off me, the excess blood that was on my face from my mom hitting me, and I cleaned myself up. And then I went to school, and after nothing happened.
So then you go to school like nothing's Nothing's up, right? Good. Let's just go to class for a little while, right?
Yeah, well, that's my last day as a free man. Might as well enjoy it.
Okay. Say goodbye to your friends?
More or less, it's you. It's whatever.
That's, well, your two best buds are the ones you really care about, right?
Well, no, they screwed me over in the end, so it's whatever.
Only one person keeps a secret, Greg.
Yeah.
You, when did they find out that you killed your mom?
When they picked me up, because I was covered in blood, which was my blood, but I was covered in blood and dirt, and I wasn't wearing a shirt, and I had soap, and they were like, what the f*** happened? And I was like, well, Brian, I called you last night. He's like, yeah, I know. And I told Dylan.
Okay. So then what was their reaction?
Apathy.
Tell me. Describe. Elaborate.
They didn't care.
They didn't care. They thought you were full of shit. I mean,
well, yeah, they thought I was full of shit until I took them back to where I did it.
Which was after school.
Yeah.
And then after school, you took them to the church.
Yeah.
And then you just started divvying out shit.
Yeah, I said, take what you want.
Knowing that your mother was dead, and you told them, take what you want. And they were good with that?
Yeah, they took it.
Who took what?
I don't know.
Okay.
To investigators, the contrast is stark. An innocent person, desperate for help, focuses on answers, not storytelling, and the fact that Gregory could deliver such a composed performance only makes it more remarkable that detectives kept their composure in the room. Before an official arrest, Pagliari has one final question, one last test.
Well, how about the part, I gotta say, I was impressed with the kicking of the door. Did you do all that yourself?
Oh, no, I had those two do it.
Oh, okay, so again, more things that these guys did.
Yeah.
Right? So tell me about that.
Well, I was like, hey, I need help staging the crime scene. And they were like, okay, we'll help you.
So both of them together kicked in the door?
Yeah, it was very impressive.
Okay. Do you guys have this on video or anything? Did you like me?
No, I wish I had it on video. That would be graphic. That'd be great. But no. But I'm sure if you dust for footprints on the door, you'll find their shoes.
Okay.
You'll find it all over the house as well. But then we went to my mom's room. We got the gloves, gave them gloves because they didn't want to get their fingerprints on anything, even though they had already kicked the door open and whatnot. But and even though they're already like basically helping me do this shit, whatever.
Meanwhile, as Gregory walks the detectives to Gail's grave, Dylan and Brian sit together in the back of a patrol car, believing they're unobserved, speaking freely, and what they say is revealing. They don't seem to grasp the severity at all.
So, am I going to go to prison or what? What's up?
Well, what's going to happen is I have to obviously let someone from the state attorney's office know about today's events, and then we'll go from there. So I don't have, there's no end game as far as what's going to end up happening to you. And your question is like what, prison and all that jazz? I don't know. But you will be arrested.
Like, yeah, obviously. But like, since I'm a minor, can I even go to prison? Is it like a thing?
That I don't know. Again, I'm just the person who gets the facts and presents them.
Is that a thing?
Again,
yeah.
All we're going to do, Detective Jones and I are just here to get the facts of the case. We present our findings to the legal part of things, which that's not me.
So since I'm in the police station already, ready to do handcuffs and all that jazz?
You probably will be handcuffed at some point, yeah.
Dope, bro. And then I did Act of the Century. She's giving me a Grammy for that 9/11 or 911 call.
Yeah.
You should give it a listen. It's quite nice.
The idea of real prison time never seems to land for them, whether that's teenage immaturity or genuine belief that helping cover up a death isn't that serious. The result is the same, a chilling lack of reality, no fear, no accountability, just talk.
Taking a little bit of pride in what you did. That's fine. You know what? It is what it is, right? Are you willing to go with us and show us where at the church where you put her and everything? Do a little reenactment of what happened? So again, if you're willing to ride with us, I'll sit with you in the backseat of a patrol car. Uniformed deputies will come in and handcuff you, of course, and put you back there with me, and then you'll just take us over to the church, and then we'll get out and do a little video reenactment of the scene over there, and just kind of go through some things. Tell us what you were thinking. That's all I'm looking to do at this point. You want to do that?
I'd be down.
You're down?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Their lack of accountability is staggering, and then, in a moment that defies belief, they begin singing Alien Boy by Oliver Tree, as if their involvement is nothing more than an afterthought. It's surreal, it's disturbing, and it's all recorded.
And then I put my phone, if I can find this code.
Are your phone's out here?
Well, no, it's not. I wish it was.
No,
But, oh, whatever. Well, there was a wooden, did they find the stuff back here?
We probably found a few things, but go ahead. What you recall?
All right. Well, whatever. There's Did you guys find the gun back here?
Did we find a gun back here? It's okay if we did.
There's one back there.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Okay.
A rifle?
Yeah. You guys found the laptops as well?
I believe so, sir.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
So yeah, whatever. I set my phone so I get some light, but then I realized I needed more, so I had to go back to my house and get more. But
sure. Tell me how you dug the hole. Let's talk about that.
Took a shovel and I dug it up.
Okay. All right. And then how did you put your mother's body in the hole? How was she oriented? Was she face up? Is she?
Okay. So originally I was gonna put her in legs first, and I realized that was a bad idea.
Right.
So I put her in head first, and then I folded her legs in. You're gonna when you dig her up, whenever you do that, you'll find the legs first, which should make it easier for you to pull it out. But
okay. How big a hole are we talking about here, Greg?
Pretty big.
Well, I mean, let's say circumference-wise. If you had to put you're a math guy. What do you think?
I mean, you guys got rid of the fire pit, but it was the circumference of the fire pit.
That's what the whole thing was, just the circumference of the fire pit?
Yeah, and then it kind of coned down.
Did you get tired?
Well, yeah, that, and I was on a time limit.
Okay, all right. So Detective Escobar, just so you're aware, Greg strangled her to death. 2 hands on her neck. Go again.
Originally started with 1, but then I thought two's better than 1.
Okay, all right. And that was 2 on both times? You choked your...
Well, I will... Yeah, well, she was like up against the wall, and if I was at my house, I'd show you, but...
Okay.
It was interesting. It was whatever.
No, yeah. I just want to know. Okay,
yeah,
again,
both.
So against the wall, standing up, and then on the floor?
Well, I had her up against the wall on the floor.
Against the wall on the floor. You see how that makes sense?
It does.
It doesn't make sense.
It's hard to make sense.
Was her head up against the wall and her body was on the floor?
Yeah.
Like you had her like pinned in the corner?
I had her in a
like
corner. I had her in a corner, yeah.
Of the wall on the floor?
Yeah. There you go. It
was like bedroom, right? Master bedroom?
Yeah. You can see when you go in there, the bed's tilted. We started on the bed. We struggled off the bed onto the left side where I proceeded to kill her.
Okay.
Eventually, all 3 boys are transported back to the station, and after a chaotic night, Gregory, Dylan, and Brian end up together again in the back of a patrol car, taken to the Department of Juvenile Justice. Still obvious to one critical fact: every word, every gesture, still recording.
Told the entire thing because they knew it already. Dude, I haven't been in cuffs all night, and then this lady shows up and she puts me in cuffs.
But you were in cuffs? Yep. Dude, they showed up and I was okay, and then they're like, okay, we transport you in cuffs.
They transported me without cuffs.
I'm like, wait, so like Dylan said this also was like, no, they're with our other detectives, and was like, shit, he's fired at the police station. So they called my father.
Oh no.
Yeah, they called my father. My father knows that I'm involved in this. I'm gonna get chewed out when I get home, and I'm not gonna get a birthday or Christmas or anything. I'm gonna be grounded for the next 10 years and disowned by my entire family.
Dude, I'm not even getting to work. Come on.
Someone's about to get fired.
Dude, no, we had that job.
Oh, man.
We're making $15 an hour. Come on, guys. This is important. Yeah, it was $15 an hour.
Wait, are we not able to anymore?
I should be done by now.
What time are we going over there? Only did the willpower stay up so long.
Dude, no, how it's working, you have to be there at 11 o'clock till around 7 o'clock.
That sounds like work.
Yeah, but it's 8 times 15. It's 140.
Each. That's good enough. I can go buy that leather jacket as well.
The more time they spend together, the clearer it becomes. Remorse is absent. Not hidden. Absent.
Greg?
It's not Greg. That guy's too tall and like skinny.
No, it's Greg. Look at his limp.
Yeah, he has to point out where the body is.
That's Greg.
That's Greg.
Mine.
No.
I know, he's not even mine. Like, honestly.
Look at what Matt's wearing. Like, I'll do a lot of things for a friend.
I was under the impression I was taking some property. I got some speakers out of it. I was enjoying those tonight. I was kind of drunk. You should ask. And they're singing Bruno Mars and all that, just like blasting the speakers. I had them all hooked up and it looked nice in my room.
I fell down to earth.
I was listening to that too. 3 doors down, so you can't ignore it. I'll hunt you down like a tyrannosaurus.
Brian seems more worried about his girlfriend being upset over unanswered texts than about the horrific reality of what he helped cover up. That tells you everything. And nothing good.
I was asking for a bottle of water so much. The one that he was like, the water's in that fountain right there. And I'm just like, I'm not drinking out of that. Like, I'm just going to get AIDS straight from drinking from that water fountain. I know. That's just...
You have handcuffs in the cell? Like, were they in front of you or behind you?
In front.
Okay, I was going to say, they're behind. But how the hell are you going to do that? You know, like, I have to do some, like, trapeze.
Oh, no. When I had to, like, flush the toilet, I literally had to, like, kick the button pretty much.
Yeah, you need to be quiet for 1 second. 1 Delta 65 Central. 3 juvenile males en route to DJJ. Starting mileage is 581. All right, you guys can go ahead and talk if you want.
Dude, seriously. Oh, I was not sitting down on that toilet. It was like steel and there was white stuff all over the toilet. I'm just like, I'll pass on that. My dad, dude, why my dad here? What? My family isn't here. I guess they just disowned me already.
You're Brian?
What? Yeah, I'm Brian.
No, they have a lawyer. They're with a lawyer with you.
Interesting. Well, my family loves me, so. Yeah. I guess I'm not getting. I'm gonna get disowned anyway. The lawyers too get me disowned.
Their casual conversation shows how little they understand what they've done, and in the aftermath, consequences split sharply. Brian's family posts a $100,000 bond quickly, while Dylan, tied to his mental health history, spends 309 days held without bond until it's finally granted at $200,000, far beyond his family's reach. Dylan ultimately serves 828 days in jail and receives 10 years of probation. Brian, charged as an accessory after the fact to second-degree murder, is sentenced to 14 years of probation, with the first 364 days in Volusia County Jail. Gregory Ramos faces the harshest outcome, tried as an adult, sentenced to 45 years in prison, reviewable in 25 years, followed by lifetime probation regardless of outcome. And Sheriff Mike Chitwood describes him as one of the most dangerous sociopaths he has ever encountered.
I was arrested on my grandma's birthday last night. Last night was my grandma's birthday. I got to see her and said happy birthday first. Happy birthday, I got arrested. I already was doing that. I didn't need this to help. Oh my god. Kat's gonna kill me. Why? She freaked out when I didn't answer her for 30 minutes. She had everyone she knew blow up my phone. And she called me like 30 times. And texted me about 100 times.
In the end, 3 young lives are permanently altered. But the deepest loss is Gail Remis, a devoted mother whose life was taken inside the very home where she should have been safest. And that's the part that never leaves.
Ready to die and get slapped about 30 times when I get back to school. Shit.
You were going to walk back to campus.
I had online work I had to do. I'm worried about school still graduating, you know.
Yeah, you're in all the left.
What?
You're in a 11-12 right? I mean, I can't graduate.
It's my senior year. I was supposed to graduate this year.
As Heather smiled at her ex from the passenger seat, she thought this was just a normal drive. She couldn't have been more wrong. And no, it wasn't because he was angry, and not because he was drunk. It was because the boys she trusted with their life were actually driving her to a place she would never return from. Police said she ran away. The town said she was just out partying. They were both dead wrong. There's one receipt stamped exactly 24 hours before. That proves this was never a date. It was a plan. If you think this is a story about teenage romance or breakup gone wrong, wake up. It was about 9 rounds that ended the life of a 16-year-old girl, delivered by the town's wealthy golden boys. And the real question is, how do you look your first love in the eye, knowing you're seconds away from taking her life like a sick animal? Hello and welcome, this is Vain True Crime. Here we tell the stories that prove danger doesn't always look dangerous. We cover cases where the threat is often someone close, someone you'd never suspect. And if you're here for detailed research, real narration, and the details that actually matter, you're in the right place. Subscribe, we upload 2 videos a week, every week. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Alright, let's get into the story. Heather Rose Rich came into the world on January 19th, 1980, born to her parents, Gail and Dwayne Rich. Growing up with 3 brothers, Heather was the second youngest in the family, a bright spark in their household. The town they called home was Waurika, Oklahoma. Heather's family carried a painful history. Her great-grandmother got killed by serial killer Henry Lee Lucas in 1982. It happened near Waurika, in the same area where the Rich family lived. Lucas confessed to that murder during his interrogation. Police confirmed it with evidence like the location details and weapon type. Now, Curtis Gamble, one of the people involved in Heather's story, turned out to be that great-grandmother's great-grandson. He was related through family lines that no one talked about much. This connection made the whole case feel even more personal and twisted for everyone who knew the history. Investigators noted it during the probe, seeing how past violence linked to current events. The family dealt with that old loss quietly, but it added layers to what happened later. Nobody expected that same family would face another brutal murder decades later. Waurika held about 2,000 people back then. The town sat right on the line between Oklahoma and Texas. In a place that small, everyone knew each other well. Neighbors talked about family matters openly, people watched out for one another, but that closeness also meant secrets spread fast. Police handled things locally. Crimes were rare. Most folks never locked their doors at night. This setup played a big role in what happened later, because connections between people made the investigation tricky. Gail and Dwayne picked Waurika for a reason. The town reminded them of Elgin, Oklahoma, where they both grew up. In Elgin, they experienced peaceful childhoods. Families looked after each other. Kids played outside until dark without a worry. They wanted that same life for Heather and her brothers. Waurika seemed perfect. Small population, tight community, low crime rates. They moved there in the early 1980s. For years, it felt like the right choice. Heather grew up safe, or so they thought. But small towns have dark sides too. The same closeness that felt protective also created blind spots. People protected their own, even when they should not have. This would cost the riches everything. The very safety they sought became an illusion that hid danger.
Waurika is this small little town.
They took a lot of pride in their football team. They took a lot of pride in their kids.
Gail and Dwayne had only one daughter, Heather. She grew into an energetic young woman who turned heads. In her teen years, she got popular fast. Boys noticed her a lot. Other girls watched how she dressed, how she acted. That attention made her worry too much about how she looked. She tried hard to keep a perfect image. By 8th grade, she faced a serious eating disorder. She did extreme things to stay size 2, like skipping meals for days or exercising for hours after school. Her family saw changes, but didn't know how deep it went. She hid food in napkins at dinner. She wore baggy clothes to hide weight loss. This pressure built inside her, affecting her choices later. Friends thought she had it all together, the pretty cheerleader with good grades. But inside, she struggled every single day. She faced something even worse. It began in 8th grade, around the same time as the eating disorder. She did it when stress overwhelmed her. She never told anyone. Not her parents, not her friends. Her mother once noticed band-aids and asked about them. Heather lied, said she scraped herself playing sports. This self-harm continued for months. It showed how desperate she felt inside, how much pressure crushed her. On the outside, she smiled at pep rallies. On the inside, she was breaking apart, piece by piece. Then her father got injured at work. Dwayne worked construction and fell from scaffolding in early 1995. He broke his back in 3 places. Doctors said he needed months of recovery. He could not walk without help. Someone had to assist him daily. Bathing, dressing, moving around the house. That job fell on Heather and her 3 brothers. She was only 14. Now she cooked dinners after school. She cleaned the entire house. She helped her father to the bathroom at night. Meanwhile, her mother, Gail, took double shifts at her Subway shop. The family needed money desperately. Bills piled up from hospital visits. Gail worked 12 hours some days, came home exhausted. Heather saw her mother's stress and felt responsible for reducing it. This pressure, combined with eating disorder, pushed her closer to collapse. She had no time to be a teenager anymore. Despite everything happening at home, Heather kept up appearances at school. She entered Waurika High in the fall of 1994. By her sophomore year, classmates nominated her for homecoming queen. She competed against 3 other girls. She didn't win. but simply making the ballot mattered in a school of only 200 students. Her grades remained high. She maintained a 3.8 GPA. Teachers praised her during parent meetings. In the spring of 1995, her peers voted her sophomore class favorite, essentially the most popular student in her grade. She won by 20 votes. On the surface, Heather seemed to have everything, but each achievement felt hollow. She smiled in yearbook photos while counting calories in her head. She spoke confidently at school while hiding cuts beneath her skirt. The distance between who people believed she was and who she truly was grew wider with each passing day. After school, she helped at her mother's Subway shop, preparing sandwiches and working behind the counter like any responsible teenager. She was also a proud member of the cheerleading squad. Yet, beneath this carefully maintained image, pressure continued to build, and it was only a matter of time before the effort to appear perfect became impossible to sustain.
She was pretty. Everybody knew her.
Heather was an intelligent girl. She had a good, caring, loving home.
During the summer of 1996, Heather began dating a boy named Randy Wood. To give you a little background on Randy, he was born on July 7, 1979. His childhood was anything but stable. He and his single mother moved around constantly. In the 5th grade alone, he attended 3 different schools. When they finally settled in Waurika, they were known as one of the poorest families in town. Their home was visibly run down, marked by a number of broken windows. Randy himself was often seen as a big, quiet kid, maybe a little slow, and every day he walked about a mile to get to school. But beneath that calm exterior, things were rough from early on. He started smoking cannabis as young as 3rd grade, even sharing it with his mom, which speaks volumes about the unstable home life he was growing up in. It's sad how those early influences can shape someone so profoundly. But despite all these challenges, his demeanor was remarkably calm and polite, and people genuinely liked him. In fact, he was so well regarded that he was made the captain of Waurika High School's football team. He was even crowned homecoming king during a blowout game where they won 28-0, basking in that small town glory. But looking back, it's a stark contrast to the darkness that followed. And in a strange way, Heather found herself drawn to Randy's so-called deficiencies. She liked him, and he liked her. During their time together in mid to late 1996, they found a sense of peace and solace in each other's company. The two of them would drive around for hours in Randy's grandma's car. They attended church together and would talk for hours on end. And although their relationship was emotionally intimate, they never took that next physical step.
She was just a typical young girl, but there was something always special about her. She could enter a room and all eyes would turn to her.
But as it so often happens with young love, Heather and Randy's romance came to an end because of outside influences. At some point near the beginning of the school year, Randy overheard a rumor that Heather had been skinny dipping at a party. It was one of those wild co-ed parties where stories get twisted and spread like wildfire, especially in a town like this, where gossip is basically the local currency. You know how it goes, once a rumor takes off, it's hard to stop, and it ended up being the breaking point for them. Whether it was true or not, the rumor was enough for him. He broke up with her, and just like that, their 5-month-long relationship was over.
You can't necessarily anticipate how you're going to react if you're spurned, or if someone else steps into the love triangle.
Following the breakup, Heather slipped into a dangerous downward spiral. The very environment that had once celebrated her now seemed to be working against her. You see, because Waurika was such an incredibly small town, there was very little for teenagers to do. This boredom often led them to resort not only to substance abuse, but to radical and dangerous behavior in general. And Heather, heartbroken and lost, was no different.
Told her that night that all she did was cost me money. And I never said anything like that to Heather.
Soon, she began experimenting with methamphetamine and alcohol. Then, less than a week after her breakup with Randy, a tragedy struck that shook her even further. One of Heather's acquaintances suddenly passed away. His name was Dennis, and at only 20 years old, he took his own life with a firearm. In the wake of this, Heather's behavior became even more erratic. She continued acting out and partying. On September 27, 1996, Heather was caught drinking alcohol with a friend on the sidelines of a football game. Right there on the field, while she was supposed to be leading cheers and keeping spirits high, she got caught sneaking drinks and ended up totally drunk. It's one of those teenage mistakes that spirals out of control, showing just how much pressure she was under to fit in. The consequences were swift. Heather was given a 3-day suspension from school and was nearly kicked off the cheerleading squad. Understandably, her parents, Gail and Dwayne, were deeply concerned about their daughter's recent behavior. In a desperate attempt to turn things around, they scheduled an appointment for her to see a therapist on October 3rd. But tragically, that appointment would never take place. On the night of October 2nd, 1996, Heather and her mother Gail got into a huge argument. The fight was over a $300 phone bill that Heather had racked up. Gail demanded to know how her daughter was going to pay for it. "All you ever do is cost me money," Gail shouted in frustration. In response, Heather didn't have a good answer, but continued to argue back. Later that night, as her parents went to bed, she wished her father good night, but pointedly ignored her mother. Unbeknownst to Gail and Dwayne, that would be the last time they would ever see their daughter alive.
And then she made a big production of walking past me to make sure I understood. She didn't say that to me. She was upset with me. And she went to her room, and that was the last I saw my daughter.
Around midnight, Heather snuck out of the house through her bedroom window. She was meeting up with a boy named Josh Bagwell. Heather and Josh had been flirting a bit since her breakup with Randy, and this late night meetup was supposed to be their first date. Josh was a senior at Eureka High and a member of one of the wealthiest families in town. He had a stash of assault rifles and a history of brushes with the law, the sort of things that hinted at trouble brewing long before it exploded. Growing up with no real consequences just amplified his reckless side. According to those who knew him, he was the stereotypical spoiled rich kid. He lived with his grandparents who gave him practically everything he ever wanted. Josh had no understanding of the word discipline. He did whatever he pleased without any fear of consequences, even if it meant breaking the law. At one point, Josh had been pulled over for DUI. He had demanded a lawyer while actively resisting arrest. By the young age of 17, he had already gone through a grand total of 6 cars. Talk about being spoiled rotten. At just 17, he'd already burned through 6 cars like they were disposable toys, a clear sign of how his wealthy family let him run wild without any real boundaries. It paints a picture of a kid who thought rules didn't apply to him. His latest was a white Dodge Stealth, and he was planning to drive it through town during the school's upcoming homecoming parade. Heather found herself drawn to Josh's status, and by flirting with him, she had managed to secure her place in his car during that parade.
She said, "Well, if you knew anything, you would tell us, right?" And I told her, "Yes, ma'am." And, and she took my word.
What's more, Josh was also friends with Heather's ex, Randy, and they were all part of the same friend group. But as Heather snuck out to hang out with Josh that night, she had no idea that he would be sending out other invitations as well. Invitations to people who would make her worst nightmares a terrifying reality. On the morning of October 3rd, 1996, Heather's parents, Gail and Dwayne, woke up to find their daughter's room empty. Panic began to set in. Soon after, they tried reporting her missing to the police, but the police wouldn't accept the report. They claimed she hadn't been gone for long enough. They casually suggested she had probably just run away and that it was best to wait. Are you kidding me? A teenager is missing, her parents are frantic, and the police response is, wait and see? How is that an acceptable protocol? In response, Dwayne and Gail tried to argue. They insisted there was no way their daughter would have run away because she had left all of her belongings behind. If she had planned to run away, surely she would have needed to bring some things with her. Regardless, the police wouldn't budge, so Heather's parents were forced to go looking for her themselves. Desperate and willing to wait, they hired a private detective who brought in bloodhounds to scour the area, hoping for any sign of her. It's the kind of heartbreaking effort that shows a parent's love knows no bounds, even in the face of the unknown. Gail, leading the charge, began making inquiries all around town. She immediately suspected that people associated with Heather would have some knowledge of where she had gone. She went to Eureka High School and acquired a list of students who who were absent on the morning Heather snuck out. This list included two very suspicious names, Randy Wood and Josh Bagwell.
She said he needed a time to party the night before, and so she was going to let him sleep that morning, and she wouldn't let me talk to him. So I left, but did notice that she was cleaning the trailer from a party that the kids had had, and I made note of that.
Upon learning this, Gail first called Randy to see what he knew. Randy told Gail he knew nothing about Heather's whereabouts. He claimed he had been hanging out with Josh Bagwell all morning and hadn't seen Heather at all. But Gail found Randy's emotionless tone of voice to be deeply suspicious. She felt like he knew a lot more than he was letting on. I don't know about you, but a mother's intuition is almost never wrong. When a mom says something is off, you better believe something is off. Next, Gail and Dwayne met up with Josh Bagwell in person to see what he knew about Heather's disappearance. Josh told the two of them that he hadn't seen Heather in a week. He claimed he didn't know where she had gone, and, well, that was that. They weren't able to get anything else out of him. So, as a last resort, Heather's parents ultimately decided on hiring a private investigator. The investigator scoured a large stretch of wooded area around Waurika, but never ended up finding anything. Then, only a week after Heather's disappearance, a Texas rancher was walking near some woods when he spotted what looked like a leg sticking out from the bottom of a murky creek. At first, he thought it was a dead calf that had floated upstream. In a bizarre and unfortunate reaction, he fired his rifle in its direction and then returned home. He actually fired off 2 shots from his .22 caliber rifle, convinced it was just a lost calf floating there. The absurdity of it all just compounds the tragedy, making the discovery even more surreal.
Told at the time was that they thought they'd found a floating in Belknap Creek.
But the next day, after a closer examination, he eventually realized the horrifying truth. It was a human body. He immediately called the police. You know, that creek turned out to be Belknap Creek, tucked away in Montague County, Texas, right beneath this old concrete bridge. The exact spot? 33 degrees 50 minutes 50 seconds north, 97 degrees 50 minutes 41 seconds west. It's one of those remote places where you wouldn't expect something so horrific to unfold, but there it was, hidden in plain sight. Upon arrival, the police were unable to identify the body due to its extreme condition. However, they could make a few critical assumptions. 1. The creek was near a concrete bridge, so it was likely the body had been thrown off of it. 2. There appeared to be an effort by the perpetrator to cover up their tracks using dirt. And 3. The body had clearly sustained multiple serious injuries consistent with gunshots. The cause of death was as brutal as it gets, a single, devastating shotgun wound right to the head. But that wasn't all. There were 8 more to her back, like whoever did this wanted to make absolutely sure. It's hard to wrap your mind around that level of violence, especially against someone so young. Some of these clues would prove to be very helpful later on, but given the fact that police knew a teen girl had gone missing only 40 miles away, they figured it would be smart to contact the girl's parents.
I don't remember a lot after that. I went into shock. I remember screaming, beating on everybody that was close enough to me, and just trying to accept it, that she was dead. She wasn't coming home.
That evening, Dwayne Rich arrived at the side of the creek to identify whether or not it was Heather. Dwayne wasn't allowed to actually see her body, but he identified her through a ring that police found on her finger. That ring mattered. It was a gold signet ring set with a small diamond, the kind of gift a parent gives to mark an important milestone. It had been Heather's 16th birthday present, something she likely cherished. Now it was the only way to confirm the unthinkable. Later that night, he returned home and told his wife, Gail. Randy learned the news at school, and that moment time seemed to stop, the weight of it all crashing down at once. Knowing what he knew, the shock was immediate and overwhelming. Heather, their only daughter, had been found. The town was left reeling. Mayor Biff Eck later admitted that no one could understand how something so horrific could happen in a place like theirs. a quiet community where nothing like this was supposed to occur. For Heather's father, identifying that ring meant confronting a reality no parent should ever face. The confirmation of loss came not through words, but through an object that once symbolized love and celebration. Immediately, Gail broke down, crying and pounding her fists in anguish. She couldn't understand why this had happened. It wasn't fair. From that point forward, both of Heather's parents became dedicated to tracking down whoever had done this to their child. But their grief was just too much to bear together. It tore them apart in ways they couldn't fix, and sadly, they ended up divorcing not long after. You can only imagine how a loss like this shatters everything, even the strongest bonds. No matter what it took, they were going to get justice for Heather, an incredible act of grace. Gail found it in her heart to forgive Randy at least partly, even sending him a Bible and a photo of Heather to remind him of what was lost. It speaks to the complexity of healing, where anger and compassion somehow coexist. In the meantime, however, they had to prepare for a funeral they never could have imagined. Heather's funeral took place on October 14th, 1996. It was held at the Praise Assembly of God Church in Comanche, Oklahoma, a place filled with somber faces and heavy hearts, and then she was laid to rest in Fletcher, not far from where her life had been so full of promise. Moments like that really drive home the finality of it all. The location was a church in Comanche, Oklahoma. As people went up to pay their condolences and say goodbye to her, nobody was allowed to touch her casket. The reason for this was because Gail suspected that the individual or persons possible for her death was somebody that Heather knew. Therefore, Gail had promised that whoever had done this would, quote-unquote, never touch her again.
It was such an ugly deed. I want to believe that she never knew what happened.
Following the discovery of Heather's body, police had officially begun an investigation into her murder. The investigation team included members of the local Texas and Oklahoma police departments, along with the FBI. Leading the charge was Sheriff Chris Hamilton, backed up by the tough Texas Rangers and even the FBI, turning the small-town case into a full-scale operation. It shows how seriously they took it, pulling in all the big guns to piece together what happened. Their makeshift headquarters was set up in train depot in Waurika called the Rock Island Depot. During the next week, they conducted over 100 interviews with various people throughout Waurika. The lead investigator, Ranger Lane Akin, had a 15-year-old daughter who was a cheerleader herself, so this case hit him on a deeply personal level, making every step of the probe that much heavier. You can see how it would weigh on anyone in his shoes. However, they made very little progress. This was partly because Waurika had a very specific culture, especially among the young people, where snitching was a big no-no. That scene code of silence was ironclad, fueled by the wild party culture and the deep distrust of the police, making it nearly impossible to get anyone to open up. It's frustrating how loyalty like that can shield the worst kind of secrets. So when investigators interviewed all of the teenagers who could have provided them with leads, few of them cooperated. Folks like Suni Williams were too scared to speak up, choosing instead to stay silent and hole up at home. That fear permeated the community, turning potential leads into dead ends. Let's be real, this no snitching culture is pure poison. A girl from your town is brutally murdered, and you're more worried about being called a snitch than helping find her killer? That's just pathetic. Before long, the investigative team interviewed Heather's mom, Gail, and she told them her suspicions about the two boys she thought may have been responsible. Additionally, some of the girls on the cheerleading squad brought up the same two names. Those were, of course, none other than Josh Bagwell and Randy Wood.
Kids were going, "We don't care who you are. We're not talking to you." It was the most bizarre thing I'd ever seen. You know those kids talk. They're on the phone. Heather was on the phone constantly. You know those kids know something, but they're not talking.
Randy Wood, Josh Bagwell, and Curtis Gamble. And they had been playing dominoes and drinking.
But the officers talking to Josh and Randy found their body language and some of the cryptic things they were saying to be suspicious. so they kept a note of it and moved on for the time being. Then, after talking to Josh and Randy, the investigation took an interesting turn. One lead the detectives received led them in the direction of a local dealer. The suspicion was that Heather may have been involved in some sort of deal gone wrong, but yet again, that lead came up short. The dealer came up with an alibi, and the alibi proved to be legitimate. So next, the focus returned to the party Heather snuck out to go to on the night of October 2nd.
Amphetamine's a big problem. Where you know there's drugs involved, there's a very real possibility of a fatal consequence.
Now back to the drawing board. The detectives in Heather's case re-examined some details about her body. It was confirmed that she had sustained 9 separate gunshot wounds from a shotgun. They used a Mossberg M9 shotgun loaded with double-aught Winchester buckshot, the kind that leaves no room for survival. Thinking about that weapon in the hands of those kids just adds another layer of horror to the whole thing. So first, the question that arose was, why so many times? The second and more critical question was, where did the ammunition come from? If they could find this out, it could lead them in the right direction. Soon, the investigative team began to interview the owners and clerks of different gun stores around town. Because the detectives knew exactly what type of ammunition was used, they requested to see if anyone had bought that specific type within the past several weeks. One of the stores they went to was called Beaver Creek Lumber and Hardware. Josh and his buddy picked up 4 whole boxes of that exact ammo on October 1st, just a day before everything went down. It's eerie how something as simple as a store purchase can later become a key piece in unraveling a nightmare. It was located in Waurika and owned by the Beaver family. Upon interviewing one of the owners, she admitted to selling Josh Bagwell and a friend of his, named Curtis, 4 boxes of the exact same ammunition used in Heather's murder. But who was this Curtis? Well, as it turns out, Curtis Gamble was a 19-year-old high school dropout and another member of Josh's friend group. Curtis lived several miles away in Texas but frequented the area a lot. He was described by people that met him as nothing less than evil. His grandma Rita later shared that when he heard the news, he just shrugged and said he didn't care, a cold response that revealed the depth of his detachment. It's moments like that that make his character even more unnerving. Curtis grew up cycling through multiple youth detention centers. His troubled past also included a psychiatric hospitalization, another chapter in life marked by instability and early warning signs. These issues went largely unaddressed for years. At one point, he even escaped from a detention center, slipping away unnoticed, adding to the long list of red flags in his early record. In one facility, he confided in a guard about violent fantasies involving kidnapping and murder, dark thoughts that would foreshadow future crimes.
Curtis Gamble was known around town as the rebel, the one who people liked to be around, but at the same time people feared.
He'd been through juvenile system before. Curtis tells us, I'm over at Josh's, haven't seen Heather. There wasn't really anything suspicious.
Additionally, he had been arrested many times before and was already on police's radar. Naturally, because of their dark natures, Josh and Curtis became friends quite easily. They both shared an interest in hunting, camping, and fishing, and to anyone that knew them, it was really only a question of when, not if, this dangerous duo would get into some serious trouble.
Curtis had said that prior to this event that he had fantasized about raping and killing a girl.
So after the team investigating Heather finished interviewing the owner of Beaver Hardware Store, they set their sights on Josh and Curtis. During the evening of October 24th, police entered Josh Bagwell's home and arrested him, and by the next day, they were all formally charged with first-degree murder, the kind of accusation that changes lives forever. It's a turning point where the net finally starts closing in on them. At the time, he was sleeping, and when they arrived, they unexpectedly woke him up. He was surrounded by a bunch of weapons, including 2 swords and a couple of rifles. One of the officers remarked that Heather's murder must have caused him insomnia, to which Josh coldly replied, You just woke me up. Did it look like I was having trouble sleeping? I don't know about you, but that response chills me to the bone. No remorse, no fear, just pure, arrogant defiance. This kid is a textbook psychopath. After being arrested, Josh then exercised his Fifth Amendment right to silence. He flat out refused to polygraph and invoked his right to silence, clamming up completely. Actions like that just scream suspicion, don't they? Meanwhile, police also visited Curtis's house. At Curtis's house, they talked to both him and his grandmother, Rita. During her interview, Rita described the moments in Curtis's childhood that immediately caused the authorities' ears to perk up. She said that a long time ago, she used to take him fishing at Belknap Creek Bridge. As it turns out, this was the exact same bridge near where Heather's body was found. After talking to Curtis himself, he agreed to a polygraph test and to answer some questions at the police station. First, he failed the polygraph, then they moved on to questioning. Initially, Curtis played dumb when authorities confronted him with the forensic evidence, including the shotgun and ammunition. He claimed they were for hunting and that he could prove it. Afterwards, FBI agents were sent out to look for used shotgun shells in some rural pastures, but this led nowhere. So despite initially playing dumb, police confronted him again, and following 8 hours of intense interrogation, Curtis finally confessed, but he did so in a way that laid a lot of blame on others. In the end, he pleaded guilty to dodge the death penalty, settling for a life sentence instead, a deal that saved his skin but left many feeling like justice was shortchanged. It's the sort of bargain that stirs up mixed feelings about the system. He cracked and confessed, but in true form, he twisted it to pin most of the blame on the others, trying to paint himself as less guilty. It's classic deflection, the kind that makes you question if there's any real remorse there at all. Meanwhile, the third perpetrator in the crime had also been arrested. His name was none other than Randy Wood, Heather's ex-boyfriend. Despite never having a criminal record and being a generally polite guy, Randy had in fact played a role in her murder. He was also the only one among the three perpetrators to pass a polygraph test. Randy's depiction of events is believed to be the most consistent with the evidence. He turned out a plea deal that could have saved him, choosing instead to risk the death penalty just to testify truthfully and set the record straight. It's a moment that hints at some inner conflict, a desire to face what he had done. He stepped up to testify without any deal in place, putting himself at risk of the death penalty to tell his side. It's a bold move that adds real tension to the courtroom drama. So here's what he claims took place on the evening of October 2nd, 1996.
The investigators involved in this overall investigation had learned that he had been seen frequently, Bagwell had been seen frequently with
Randy, Josh, and Curtis were all hanging out like they would have done any other weekend. As midnight approached, Josh was supposed to pick up Heather from a church near her house, but after driving there with the others, they saw that she was no longer there. So instead, Josh and his friends drove to her home, snuck up to her window and knocked. After they didn't receive a response, they drove back to Josh's house, and as it turns out, Heather had beaten them there. She was waiting on the steps of a trailer parked outside the home. For a short while after that, all four of the teens hung out in the trailer, drinking and listening to the radio. But before long, Heather and Josh started kissing and requested some alone time, so then Randy and Curtis left and drove around on some back roads. Meanwhile, over the next hour, Heather became increasingly more intoxicated inside the trailer with Josh. By the time Randy and Curtis returned to Josh's trailer, Heather was extremely drunk. Evidently, Josh and Heather had been intimate, and Heather became really apologetic towards Randy about it. She began saying how sorry she was to him and how bad she felt, but Randy reassured her by telling her it was okay. The two of them had broken up a while back. It wasn't like she was cheating on him, and then eventually, Heather just passed out in the trailer.
They were playing dominoes. They were just having a good time.
After that happened, the boys made a terrible decision while she was unconscious. Gamble tried to spin it by claiming it started consensual, but turned non-consensual once she passed out. A twisted justification that only highlights the depravity. It's the kind of detail that makes your blood boil. Once they all participated in the assault, they left the trailer for a bit. At some point, though, Heather woke up and began screaming. As a result, Curtis began freaking out. He was concerned that Heather was going to accuse him. From that moment onward, he started talking about silencing her permanently. And before long, the half-baked plan commenced. Curtis got out his shotgun and essentially demanded the others to do what he said. That shotgun of his had a nickname, Old Blackie, like it was some trusted old friend, which makes the whole scene even more unsettling. It's details like that that stick with you, turning a weapon into something almost personal. Even in court, he couldn't contain himself. He lunged at a bailiff and had to be restrained, showing that volatile temper right there in front of everyone. It's a snapshot of the rage that defined him. Together, Josh and Randy carried Heather into the back of Josh's pickup truck and Josh began driving in the direction of Texas. Eventually, Curtis got frustrated at Josh's driving and took the wheel himself. Upon doing so, he drove to a place near his home known as Belknap Creek Bridge. After parking, Curtis once again demanded that Randy and Josh relocate Heather. This time, he told them to pick her up and bring her to the edge of the bridge. After they did so, Randy returned to the truck and covered his face with his hands. Meanwhile, from the top of the bridge, Curtis inflicted the fatal injuries on Heather with the shotgun. And just like that, a poor girl's life was over. During the next few weeks, they all tried their best to stick to their stories and play dumb. But we all know that only works for so long. So after being arrested in the early hours of October 24th, all three of them were officially charged with first-degree murder. Under Texas's law, parties, accomplices are held just as accountable as the one pulling the trigger, which is why all three face the same heavy charges. It's a rule that ensures no one gets off easy for standing by while horror unfolds. Then, following their respective trials in 1997 and 1998, the defense went low, painting her as some kind of whore of Babylon to attack her character and shift blame. It's a tactic that infuriates, turning the victim into the villain in their narrative. Josh Bagwell, Curtis Gamble, and Randy Wood were each sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole. For Bagwell, it was life plus 99 years, with the earliest chance of parole not until November 28, 2036, practically a lifetime away. Gamble got slapped with 2 life terms, his parole date set for October 31st, 2026, which still feels too soon for some. And Wood, a straight life sentence eligible for parole on November 20th, 2036. You have to wonder if justice like that ever truly heals the wounds. Heather's father even tried suing the hardware store for negligence in selling that ammo to kids, but the court dismissed it, saying the murder was too unforeseeable. It leaves you thinking about where responsibility really ends in tragedies like this. Parole could come as early as 2036 for him, but it's denied.
Part would have been over. He wouldn't have participated in her murder.
Frida Thompson, the grandmother who raised Randy Wood, isn't sure what to think.
You and the Rich family talk.
Yeah.
Why?
Because we both lost them. You know, I feel like sometimes I'm better off, but then I get the feeling maybe I'm not. Maybe it would have been better that Randy went with her, you know, because he has no life left. He's already institutionalized. What's he going to do when he comes out? Say if he gets 30 years, I'm not going to be here.
And finally, from Curtis Gamble, a jailhouse apology to the Rich family.
I'm terribly sorry. There ain't nothing I can say or do did it, you know what I'm saying, bring their loss back, you know what I'm saying. They won't believe me if they seen this, you know what I'm saying. They don't
You make it hard to believe you.
Well, yeah.
The way you talk, the tough guy thing, makes it real hard to believe you.
No, I'm not necessarily a tough guy. I'm a soldier.
You're a soldier?
Right. You know, you're born with it, you know what I'm saying? But I know they think I'm lying, you know what I mean? Because I've been cold. I've been in court, you know what I'm saying? I have. You know what I'm saying? I've been cold-blooded in court, you know what I'm saying? No emotion. Taunting the DA a little bit.
And he doesn't apologize for that or for attacking a bailiff in court.
He kept grabbing a hold of me.
Tried to touch you.
Yeah, I don't dig people grabbing on my neck, grabbing on my clothes, you know what I'm saying? I told him I'd back up, man. But listen.
Sounds kind of violent to me.
Oh, I can get violent. I can get violent. Anyone can.
And he says he now knows what he should have done that night to Randy Wood.
I should have shot him after he done it. I should have killed his ass. I mean, that's coming from me, my mouth. I said that. I hope it's on tape. You know what I mean? I should have killed the son of a bitch.
But for Randy Wood, there is another kind of message, an important message to kids out there.
Drugs and alcohol don't pay off.
When you look in the mirror now, who do you see looking back at you?
Person in that picture.
As innocent?
No, not as innocent. I mean, I still feel bad about not stopping it and everything, but I mean, considering everything that's happened and the way I've handled it, I feel a lot better about myself.
The Rich family has struggled for a way to feel better too. Being here together, leaving a ribbon to honor Heather's memory.
Just something that we don't forget it. That's all it is.
It is a tragedy in which there are no winners and only some who have learned. Those who haven't learned will have a lifetime to study the lessons.
Randy Wood's trial is expected to begin in the fall. Prosecutor Tim Cole says if Randy is truly remorseful, he'll be ready to accept any punishment he's given. The prosecutor also believes equal punishment for Randy, life in prison like the other two, is a fair sentence, and he will not ask for the death penalty. He also told us he expects all three will die in prison. I'm Diane Sawyer in New York. Good night to all of you. Sam and I will be back again in...
He'd have to wait another 10 years before trying again. That uncertainty hangs over everything, a reminder that freedom isn't guaranteed. Years down the line, the prosecutor, Tim Cole, started having second thoughts about Wood's life sentence. He even visited him in prison in 2014, feeling like maybe mercy was in order given the remorse. It's a rare glimpse into how time can change perspectives on justice. A few years after these sentences were given, however, something unexpected happened. In 2002, while Curtis was being put on trial for another charge related to the crime, both he and Josh Bagwell were temporarily relocated to a jail in Texas. It happened on January 28, 2002. They busted out with a couple of other inmates and even stole a Geo Chevrolet tracker to make their getaway. The audacity of it all, escaping after they had done, just defies belief. During their stay there, they successfully worked together with a couple of other inmates to break out of jail. For the next 9 days, Josh and Curtis then evaded capture before ultimately getting into a standoff with police outside of a convenience store. As if one life sentence wasn't enough, Gamble picked up a second one for a conspiracy in 2002, ensuring he'd stay locked away even longer. It feels like the system finally caught up with these endless schemes. Somehow, they had even acquired a handgun during their escape, but in the end, they surrendered to authorities. Gail Fulton was absolutely dismayed by the escape, voicing her deep fear that these cold-blooded killers might strike again. Her words captured the lingering terror that such events bring to those who've already suffered so much. You have to be kidding me. They murder a teenage girl, get life in prison, and then just break out? Once inside, Bagwell went even darker, getting white supremacy tattoos, trying another escape, starting a riot, and even threatening officers. It's like he never learned a thing, just kept fueling the chaos around him. How is a jail holding these guys so incompetent? This whole system feels like a joke sometimes. There were 2 bills floated to allow earlier parole for juveniles, cutting eligibility to half the sentence, but neither passed, leaving the rules as strict as ever. It highlights the ongoing debate about second chances for young offenders. Bagwell didn't stop causing trouble inside. He tried sparking a riot, threatened guards, and even attacked an officer showing no signs of turning over a new leaf. It's as if prison only amplified his defiant streak. Years later, Wood found a bit of light in the darkness. He married Larissa Huia, right there in prison back in 2016. It's one of those unexpected turns that shows life keeps moving, even behind bars. Cole actually went to visit him in prison, reflecting on how the life sentence might have been too harsh after all. It's a human side to the justice system, where even prosecutors can have doubts over time. The following month, yet another strange thing occurred. When Josh's mother, Therese, attempted to help him and Curtis escape from jail again, she went so far as to smuggle a hacksaw hidden in Bibles, desperate to spring them free. But it all backfired and she got sentenced to 20 years with 12 deferred. It's unbelievable how far a mother's denial can push someone into the wrong. Her plan was to get into contact with Curtis's brother, Rick, and to sneak a bunch of weapons to Josh by acting as Josh's lawyer. Additionally, she wanted Rick to help her gather some firearms, maps, and cell phones to give to the two felons once they escaped again.
For you to take this girl's life and affect their parents, affect their family, affect their community, affect your own future, affect your own life, that's beyond me. I don't understand.
The guardrail of Belknap Creek Bridge sits the words, "Gone, not forgiven, R.I.P. Heather 1996. And maybe it's appropriate that this message is written in graffiti, because that's the people's language, and after all, Heather was very popular with the people.
Curtis and Josh, I feel like they should both be dead. But Randy, I feel like should serve some time in prison. Yes, he should. He did something that was terribly wrong, but not to pay for it with the rest of his life, no.
This story shows us that the most dangerous monsters aren't hiding in the shadows. They're often the people we know, living in towns we believe are safe. It's a terrifying reminder that a culture of silence and the lack of consequences can turn teenage cruelty into an absolute nightmare.
Montague County, Texas, and Jefferson County, Oklahoma, are only separated by the Red River. You've got farming communities on both sides, working class for the most part. You really wouldn't know if there wasn't a bridge and a river there that you were crossing a state line.
Honestly, I really want to hear your take on this. What hit you harder, the actual crime or the fact that the system was so messed up these guys could just walk out of jail? And let's talk about that no snitching rule. Is that actually loyalty, or is it just a convenient excuse for a whole town to look the other way while things get dark? Who's the real villain in your eyes? Curtis, the guy who clearly lost his mind? Josh, the rich kid who thought his money made him untouchable? Or Randy, the good guy who just stood there and let it happen? If you've ever dealt with something this heavy, please share your stories in the comments. I'm down there reading and replying to everyone. If you haven't joined us yet, hit that subscribe button. We're digging into cases every week that will completely change how you look at justice. Don't miss out. Rest in peace, Heather Rose Rich. You deserve so much more. As for the aftermath, he's been keeping his head down in prison, no trouble, even teaching chess to other inmates. It feels like he's trying to find some quiet kind of redemption, far away from the noise. You know, they say your sins will always find you. Nothing stays buried forever. And if there's one thing to take away from this, it's that the people you surround yourself with can either lift you up or pull you straight into the abyss. Trust your gut. Those red flags you're seeing, don't ignore them. They're there for a reason. Take a look at the screen. We put a lot of heart into these next series, and trust me, if you thought small town evil was wild, the next case shows you exactly what happens when darkness hides when no one thinks to look. Stay safe.
How old is your daughter?
16.
What's her name?
Carly.
How long has you been missing?
It's been 3 months since 16-year-old Carly disappeared.
Carly Gouzet's picture is taped to window after window in the town of Bishop, California.
We're pretty confident that she walked away from the house that morning because people saw her.
Melissa, how old is your daughter?
16.
What's her name?
Carly.
How long has you been missing?
I last saw her at 5:30 this morning, and then a neighbor saw her walking down the street at 6:30.
Do you know what she was last wearing?
Skinny jeans and sweater.
At the moment, Carly started screaming in terror. Her stepmother believed the right thing to do was film it. She was wrong. Not because it was cruel. She said she walked into the desert. Her father said she was abducted. Both were wrong. If you think this is just a runaway teen story, or a drug overdose, you're already missing the point. Because this wasn't about a girl getting lost. It was about a girl escaping her own home. It was about the footprints that stopped, right at the edge of the driveway. And the question is, how did a teenager vanish from a flat open desert while her parents were sleeping 10 feet away? Guys, thanks so much for being here. I promise to make this valuable for you. If you have a second, drop where you're watching from in the comments. Honestly, it's my favorite thing seeing how far this community stretches across the world. Look, I'm just trying to be the best creator I can be for you. If I earn your trust today, a subscribe would be amazing. If not, please tell me why in the comments. I read everything and want to get better. Sorry for taking up your time. Let's dive in. Carly Gousset was born on May 13th, 2002, to her parents, Zach Gousset and Lindsay Fairley. Her early life, like that of many children, was shaped by the changing dynamics of her family. When she was just a toddler, around the age of 2, her parents made the difficult decision to separate. Following the separation, Carly went to live primarily with her mother, Lindsay. Within about 2 years of the divorce, Carly's father, Zach, found love again and married a woman named Melissa, who would become Carly's stepmother. Zach and Melissa went on to build a new family of their own. Now, it's important to note that the timelines in this case can be incredibly confusing, and this is a theme that will unfortunately repeat itself. According to most sources, around the time Carly was 5 or 6 years old, a significant change occurred. She moved in full-time with her father and her stepmother, Melissa. At some point, Zach had considered moving to Nevada, but they ultimately decided against uprooting Carly from the life she knew. She was already enrolled in school and building friendships in her hometown of Bishop, California. So, the agreement was made that Carly would stay in Bishop with her father, Melissa, and her siblings. Just a few months before the events that would change everything, the Gousset family made another move. They relocated from Bishop to the nearby Chalfont Valley, California. They settled into a home in a rather isolated neighborhood known as White Mountain Estates. If you were to look it up on a map, you'd see it's nestled right between Chalfont and Bishop, running alongside Highway 6. The area is stark, surrounded by little more than the vast, empty desert. But according to Melissa, Carly's stepmother, this move didn't bother Carly at all. It wasn't as if they had completely torn her away from her world. She was still very close to everyone she knew, and the drive back to her old stomping grounds was only about 20 minutes. She was able to attend the same high school, Bishop Union High School, and see the same friends. From all outward appearances, the move hadn't impacted her negatively. At the time of her disappearance, Carly seemed to be living the life of an average teenager. She had a solid group of friends and was dating a boy named Donald. Her friends described her as someone who was initially introverted, but once you got her to come out of her shell, she was incredibly fun to be around. Her mother, Lindsay, paints a picture of a deeply caring and nurturing young woman, someone who often put the feelings of others before her own. She just wanted to ensure that everyone around her was happy and well taken care of. She was a great big sister and she loved animals. By all accounts, she was a well-rounded, good kid. However, as is common with teenagers, she had run into a bit of trouble just before she vanished. According to her stepmother, Melissa, Carly had been caught smoking marijuana at school. This landed her in a significant amount of trouble. While the exact details are unclear, it's believed she was suspended for a period of time. Melissa also stated that Carly was required to attend counseling at the school because of the incident. Around the same time, some sources report that her grades had started to slip. Something was clearly going on. Was it just a teenager deciding to experiment, letting her focus on school slide in favor of other things? Or maybe she just wanted to spend more time with her boyfriend. Honestly, that's a phase many of us go through in high school. Or perhaps, was there something deeper happening, something that no one was aware of? Regardless of the reason, this was the backdrop to the days leading up to her disappearance. Now, it is crucial to state that Lindsay, her biological mother, has come forward to say she was not personally aware that any of this was happening at the time. She mentioned that Melissa did eventually tell her about the counseling, but she didn't seem to have a full picture of the situation. Lindsay felt strongly that if something serious were troubling Carly, her daughter would have confided in her, given their close relationship. And by all accounts, Carly was acting like her typical, happy self throughout the beginning of October. And then, suddenly, she was gone. According to the current police timeline, which is important to specify because you will find conflicting times all over the internet, the story begins on the morning of October 13th, 2018. Melissa woke up somewhere between 7:15 and 7:30 in the morning to a chilling discovery. Carly was missing. Carly was officially reported missing to the Mono County Sheriff's Department around 9:30 in the morning, and that's when the searches began. When police arrived at the home, they found no signs of a break-in, no indication of forced entry. In her room, Carly had left behind all of her personal belongings. Her cell phone, her glasses, her money, everything was still there. This was immediately alarming. It was incredibly out of character for Carly, who, like most teenagers, was practically attached to her cell phone. When investigators examined the phone, they found nothing. There were no clues, no messages, no hints at all as to where she could have gone. It was as if she simply got up in the morning, walked out the door, and vanished into the vast desert landscape. I don't know about you, but a teenager leaving her phone, her money, her glasses, that's not a runaway. That's a massive red flag from minute one. Apparently, when Zach and Melissa realized she was missing that morning, they first went out in their cars to search the nearby area themselves. You have to remember, the nearby area was mostly miles of open desert. They were unable to find any sign of her. Once alerted, local authorities brought in all of their resources, hoping to locate a teenager who was very possibly lost in the wilderness. They deployed helicopters, some equipped with infrared technology. They had searchers on horseback, on all-terrain vehicles, and canine units trying to track her scent. These intensive searches continued for about a week. During this time, not much information was being released.
Bishop PD or CHP flying over. They had their copter today. Thank you to CHP. Love you. And we are going to potentially have the helicopter do the search over a very large area. She'll follow all the way around us, all the way down to Lake Laws. And they're amazing. And several Mono County sheriffs, and I see all your faces popping up and it makes me want to cry. I love you guys. And I'm putting this out there because it's going on 10 hours that she's been missing. And I want to put this on blast because I don't think she's out in the desert. I think that she could have been abducted or taken because we do live on a highway and it happens, and I'm being real. And I just want to let everybody know, Alicia, you're calling me. Are you watching the video? She's not watching the video. That's okay. I want to put this on blast because I don't know what to do to consider her a missing person. You can't do an Amber Alert because she didn't leave in a car and I don't have a physical description of a vehicle. She is 5'7". Hold on. Let's do this good. Wait, there she is. She's 5'7", about 115 pounds. She has blue eyes and the cutest little nose and a great smile. And her hair goes all the way down past her, like to her belly, let's say, mid-waist. And this was last year's picture. Shows you she's a little bit different, but not much. She's still like adorably cute. She doesn't wear makeup and everything. She left in her jeans and a t-shirt. So I'm putting it out there and just go for it. Everybody help me out here. I love you all. Everybody please watch, share, your friend share, my friend share. Everybody just share the shit out of it. All right. Thank you.
Now, I'm sure you're already seeing where the timeline might seem a little off, and we will get deeper into that in a moment. The live streams continued from that point on, with Melissa speaking about what was happening in the moment. She showed the search efforts being conducted by the Mono County Sheriff's Department. The FBI was also participating in the searches and the investigation. Then, 9 days into the disappearance, the police officially canceled their active search. They had been unable to find anything. It was at this point that Melissa posted another video. In it, she basically said that the police were at a standstill, so she was now going to share information that they had allowed her to release. And this gave everyone, for the first time, a glimpse into the state of mind Carly may have been in when she went missing and the bizarre events that led to her disappearance. According to what Melissa stated in this video, and in subsequent live streams and interviews, the story really began on the night of Friday, October 12th. Carly had supposedly gone out to a high school football game in Bishop with her boyfriend, Donald, and a few friends. Sometime around 8 in the evening, Melissa said she called Carly just to check in and make sure she didn't need a ride home from the game. Carly assured her that Donald was going to bring her home afterwards. It doesn't seem that Melissa noticed anything odd during this phone call, or at least she's never mentioned it. But that all changed just 30 minutes later. Around 8:30 in the evening, Carly called Melissa back. This time, she was clearly in distress. There are a few different versions of what was said in this phone call. Melissa has claimed that Carly said something like, "Look, never mind, I do need a ride. I need you to come and get me right away. I'm at the Highlands RV park." She sounded scared of something, very, very upset. Other versions of this story claim that Carly specifically told Melissa that she was booking it, running in the dark down a road called Dixon Lane, which is about 1 to 2 miles north of the RV park. Now, while I can't say for sure which version is correct, one seems to make more logical sense. Melissa said that the first place she drove to was the RV park. When she got there, she realized Carly wasn't there. It's unclear if Carly had specified a meeting spot, or if maybe one of Carly's friends was there to tell Melissa she had left. Regardless, once she realized Carly was no longer at that location, she decided to drive around and search for her, eventually making her way to Dixon Lane. Think about it. If Carly had called and said, "I'm running down Dixon Lane," that probably would have been the first place Melissa would have gone. So perhaps that explains the different stories. But either way, Dixon Lane is where Melissa claims she ultimately found her daughter. This road is on the very outskirts of Bishop, surrounded again by nothing but desert. The only way Melissa was able to spot Carly was because she saw a small light bobbing up and down in the darkness. As she got closer, she realized it was Carly, running and looking deeply frightened. She had her phone in her hand with the flashlight on, because this area is pitch black at night. Melissa said it was obvious from the moment she saw her that Carly was in a great deal of distress. She said Carly jumped into the back of the car, pale as a ghost. From there, they drove back to their home, where Melissa states they arrived at about 9 in the evening. That's about a 20-minute drive, so the timing seems to add up. Now, Zach, her father, was home at the time. He had apparently gotten home from work that Friday at about 6:30 in the evening and, according to his own account, he immediately started drinking some beers. So, his recollection of that night isn't very detailed. Honestly, "I was drinking beers" is the most convenient excuse I have ever heard. Your kid is having a full-blown crisis, and you're just, what? Checked out? Most of the information about what happened next comes directly from Melissa. Melissa said that at some point, either during the drive or once they got home, Carly admitted to her that she had never actually gone to the football game. In reality, she had gone to hang out with Donald and some friends, and they had decided to smoke some weed. At this point, Melissa claims she just assumed Carly was having a strange reaction to the marijuana. She didn't feel it was necessary to take her to the hospital. She believed she could just take Carly home, where she would be safe and taken care of, and that Carly would eventually come down from the high and be totally fine. Look, if my kid was that terrified, talking about the devil's lettuce and acting completely out of her mind, we're going to the emergency room. Period. You don't just hope they sleep it off.
Is out there because so many people are judgmental, and I don't want her story to die. And I was so scared just to say anything, and the investigators are like, "You can't talk to anybody about this because the FBI was involved, and if anybody finds out or they get spooked or somebody tips somebody off, then she could be right here and then she could be gone." So this is hard right now because I don't want people to judge her. Kids smoke pot all the time. And so around 5:48 was my last text in the morning. I fell back asleep, and then that's when I woke up and she was gone.
However, that is not at all what happened. Carly was reportedly very paranoid and deeply frightened for the entire night, right up until the moment she went missing, and probably for some time after that. During the drive home, Melissa stated that Carly wasn't just disoriented, she was deeply paranoid. Before the police gave them the go-ahead to release details, they had only described Carly as being disoriented. But Melissa later said that paranoid and scared were much better descriptions. She said Carly was moving restlessly around the car during the entire drive home, fearful that the car itself was a source of danger. When they got home, this bizarre behavior just continued. Zach has stated in interviews that one minute Carly would be huddled in a corner, convinced that he or Melissa were a threat to her. And then the next minute, she would be telling them how much she loved them, thanking them for picking her up, and saying she was happy to be home. She would ask Melissa to paint her toenails or to color with her. Melissa said that to try to help Carly feel better, she wanted to get some food into her system. She offered her a protein bar and a salad. But Carly completely refused both, even saying that the salad was the devil's lettuce. She also seemed to be speaking a lot about religion, which could offer some insight into her mental state. She was specifically asking to go to church and to read the Bible. She wanted Melissa to pray with her. That phrase, the devil's lettuce, is particularly interesting because, of course, it's also a common slang term for marijuana. So that was the pattern for most of the night. When Carly was refusing to eat and just couldn't seem to shake the state of paranoia, they decided the best option would be to try to get her to sleep it off. Melissa tried to put Carly to bed, but Carly apparently asked Melissa to stay the night with her. She was so scared, she wanted Melissa to sleep in the bed with her. In between the moments of being deeply fearful of her parents, Carly apparently would not let either of them out of her sight. She was terrified to be alone. Even when Melissa was brushing her teeth and getting ready for bed, Carly was right by her side. According to Melissa, they tried to wind down. Carly was writing something down for a while, and they watched a movie. They just hung out for a little bit. And around 3 in the morning or so, they both went to sleep. Melissa has described being in and out of sleep the whole night. It's unclear if she ever saw Carly fall asleep for sure. She has stated that at around 5:45 in the morning, she drifted awake for a moment. She remembered looking over and seeing Carly lying there, wide awake, with her eyes wide open. Wait, you see your kid lying there, eyes wide open, after a night of extreme paranoia, and you just drift back to sleep? How do you not say something? How do you not check on her? Now, she has stated in most of her interviews that the last time she spoke to Carly was at 5:45 in the morning. It's not clear what she said to Carly at this point, or if Carly's demeanor had changed. Was she still seeming paranoid? That has not been stated anywhere. But that was the last time Melissa says she personally saw Carly. And then she drifted back to sleep. When she woke up again, Carly was gone. Carly had literally just vanished into thin air after a night filled with intense paranoia and fear. So this is the story that people were really hearing for the first time about how Carly disappeared. And over the course of the next few live streams and interviews, more details continued to come out. Now, I quickly want to talk about something that was, and still is, very heavily focused on in this case. I believe it was possibly the day after Carly's disappearance, or at least within that same month of October, that Melissa did an interview on Dateline. It has been reported by numerous sources that in this interview, Melissa entirely changed her story. Now, I do want to state that I have searched high and low through Dateline archives and everywhere else I can think of to find this interview to confirm this information, but I cannot find it anywhere. However, Dr. Phil ended up speaking to both Melissa and Zach, as well as Lindsay, and he questioned Melissa about this. Apparently, in the interview with Dateline, Melissa said that she woke up at around 5:45 in the morning that morning. So far, so consistent. But instead of saying she woke up in Carly's bed and saw Carly lying there wide awake, she stated that she had woken up that morning to do her typical rounds in the house, opening her kids' doors to say good morning and get them ready. She also stated that she opened Carly's door to check on her and said that Carly was fine. At this point, 5:45 in the morning, she doesn't mention Carly lying there wide awake. After this, she said she went back to sleep, woke up later between 7:15 and 7:30, and Carly was gone. Obviously, this tells a completely different story. The first thing that sticks out is that Melissa had previously said she slept in Carly's room. But in this Dateline interview, which happened right after the disappearance, it made it seem like she didn't stay in Carly's room at all. It implies she walked up to Carly's shut door and opened it. This brings us to another point. In her first live stream where she gave details, Melissa stated that she wouldn't have woken up if Carly had left the room because Carly's door had been wide open. But again, in the Dateline interview, she makes it seem like Carly's door was shut. Dr. Phil asked Melissa about this discrepancy. She said, quote, "Yeah, that was a false story because I wasn't. It was a lie about checking in on Carly because it was the beginning, didn't know what to say, and I shouldn't have even done the interview." Zach then added, quote, "It was too early. You don't know what to do. There's no handbook for this, man. I'm sorry, there's no handbook for this is a garbage excuse for lying to national media. The one thing you times do times know is to tell the truth. Why would you ever lie?" A lot of people have really latched onto this, saying that it was a deliberate fabrication. Others believe it was just a grieving stepmother trying to follow police instructions not to give out information, so she just said something random. To be fair, we really don't know why she did it. And at the very least, it seems to have been cleared up in other interviews. On top of that, there were other time discrepancies. Melissa had stated she last spoke to Carly at 5:45 in the morning and noticed she was missing at 6:30 in the morning and that they called police and Lindsay around 9:30. But if you look at the timeline of them searching for 2 hours, that brings the time they noticed her missing to 7:30 in the morning, which is the timeline now accepted by police. So a lot of people were also asking why she initially said 6:30. Honestly, with so much going on, it's very likely that times just got jumbled in a very stressful event. But some people believe there is more to it than that. Now back to the searches. Because of the isolated location of their neighborhood, there are no gas stations nearby, no stores, and absolutely no surveillance cameras that would have captured where Carly was heading. It was just the desert on the side of a highway, early on a Saturday morning. As I mentioned, the Mono County Sheriff's Department conducted an extensive search for about a week. They brought out all the resources they possibly could. The FBI was involved. Other agencies were involved. Unfortunately, they kept coming up empty-handed. From my understanding, they never found anything that gave them any answers as to where Carly could have possibly gone. Melissa and Zach had stated that they did find a single footprint outside of their home that they believed was Carly's. This is why they initially thought that Carly had just gone out to clear her head. Let's be real. A single footprint? In the desert? That's what you're basing this on? That sounds less like evidence and more like a story you tell yourself because the alternative is too terrifying. If she had had a night like they described, maybe she woke up, came to her senses, and just went out for a breath of fresh air. But obviously, when they couldn't find her after 2 hours, they reported her missing. It also seemed like pretty early on, they believed it was possible Carly had been abducted. In that first live stream, just 10 hours after she was reported missing, Melissa stated that because they were so close to a highway, she was worried Carly had been taken. Then, something was uncovered that was incredibly helpful for the police. 3 different witnesses called in to report that they had seen Carly in the early morning hours of October 13th. 2 of the individuals who saw her that morning actually knew her. Not very well, but they had seen her in the neighborhood. One of them was a retired law enforcement officer, and the other was a teacher at a nearby school, though not the one Carly attended. Richard Eddy was one of those neighbors who came forward, saying he had seen Carly that morning.
She was missing. I don't quite understand the whole thing. I was in my hot tub room. It was probably about 6:30, 7 o'clock. This happened a couple of years ago, so I'm just trying to guess at it. But I'd say between 6:30 and 7, and it was kind of chilly that morning, I remember. And for some reason, I looked out towards the street. I have big windows in the hot tub room. So I looked out towards the street and I thought, that's unusual. There's a young girl walking by. She had long brown hair. She had clothes on. She had a white, I can't even remember, but I think she had a white top and maybe gray bottoms or something. But she had clothes on, but it was kind of chilly, and I thought, that's kind of weird that she would be there. And she was waving a piece of paper, like a 12 by 12 piece of paper. She was just waving it in the air and walked by. Now, later that morning, I think it was about 8 o'clock maybe, I'm guessing probably, that her mother says, have you seen my daughter? And I told her the story that I had just seen a girl walk by, but I didn't know it was her. Oh, that was her. I think you were the last one to see her. I said, well, I don't know, but I'll help you go look. So at that time I had a side-by-side motorcycle. So I rode up into the canyon, which is straight over from my house, because I figured maybe that's where she would go, because I have 2 chairs set up in that little canyon, and there's a little fire pit there, and I shoot my guns down into the canyon. And I went over there, and she wasn't there, and by the time I came back, she was at my driveway, and I told her I didn't see anything, and she says, well, thank you very much. And that's about the last I really heard of the whole thing.
A second neighbor described the exact same thing. They saw a young girl matching Carly's description, wearing the same outfit, holding a piece of paper, and exhibiting the same strange behavior. And the third witness, someone who did not know Carly personally, described a young girl wearing a white t-shirt and gray sweatpants at the intersection of Highway 6, right where her neighborhood was located. This man said that he was traveling along Highway 6 when he noticed a girl around 7:30 in the morning, awkwardly standing at the highway behind a barbed wire fence, just staring off into space. So it appears from these witnesses that Carly had walked off that morning sometime between 6:30 and 7:30 in the morning. The location was about a mile from her home, and it usually takes the average person about 30 minutes to walk a mile, so this timeline does make sense, and she was clearly heading towards Highway 6. But after this, no one has any idea where she went. This also brought up a critical question. If she was seen just a mile from her home along Highway 6 around 7:30, right around the time that Melissa and Zach noticed she was missing. How on earth was she missed in their initial search? If she was on foot, she couldn't have gotten very far. Where did she go? This is the part that makes zero sense. She's seen a mile from the house, on foot, right when they start looking. How do you miss her? Unless you weren't looking in the right direction, or at all.
How could I have missed her? You know? She was just right there. Just something's wrong. Somebody took her. There's just something. And I wanted to put it out there, and I want you guys all to know. And so, if you needed to know all that, great. And if you didn't care, great, because I don't care. I just want her. We want her home. And thank you for the continued support. And let's bring Carly home, and thank you all again.
If she had been walking on Highway 6, it feels like they would have found her. I have looked at every possible route she could have taken following the roads, and much of the surrounding area appears to be cattle land. I'm making that assumption because of the cattle guards on the roads and the barbed wire fencing. I don't know if the family or police were able to use any of the dirt cattle roads to go back into the desert to search for her, or if they mainly focused on Highway 6 and the towns of Bishop and Chalfont. Unless, by some chance, she got into a car with someone while on the highway, and that is a theory that a lot of people believe. They think she was picked up on Highway 6, which is apparently well traveled by truckers in the very early morning hours. However, I have an issue with that theory. Given everything we know about her state of mind, if you're so fearful of your own parents that you think a car is a source of danger, it's hard to believe she would have willingly gotten into a car with a complete stranger. While the paranoia could have subsided by 7:30 in the morning, something tells me she still wasn't quite right. She also didn't have her phone, so she had no way to reach out to a friend for a ride. On top of that, no one has ever come forward to say they picked her up. Police have searched her phone records and feel that if someone had picked her up and dropped her off somewhere, they likely would have reported it after seeing her face all over the news. It's also possible that she didn't willingly get into a vehicle. Maybe someone took advantage of her vulnerable state and got her out of the area before the searches began. But another issue I have with that is that the entire side of the road is just dry dirt, which is very easily disturbed. Since police searched this entire area with dogs, I feel like if someone had pulled over and there had been a struggle, there would have been signs, tire tracks, disturbed dirt, something. The dogs would have alerted. But from what I know, they have not found anything. The long search by authorities was officially called off on October 25th, 2018. The family continued searching, but unfortunately, as you can probably guess, there was a lot of tension within the family, and there still is. I don't believe that Zach and Melissa have any communication with Lindsay today. Lindsay has made it very clear that she has a lot of questions about things that just don't add up to her regarding Zach and Melissa's story. Lindsay has stated that she felt something was off from the very beginning. When Zach first called her, the first thing he said was, "Carly is gone." She thought that was an odd choice of words. In her mind, the first thing she thought of when she heard "gone" was that Carly was no longer alive. She just found the way he told her to be strange. On top of that, she pointed to Melissa's changing story. From what I've gathered in interviews with Lindsay, there seem to be other issues with changing stories, perhaps in personal communications. All of this has made her feel very uneasy, and Zach has seemed to stay mainly quiet about what happened. She's also questioned why Melissa initially said that Carly left in skinny jeans and a white t-shirt, and then, as soon as the information came out from the witnesses, she changed her story to say Carly was in gray sweatpants. Melissa has come forward separately and given her explanations for all of this. First and foremost, she said that she was simply stressed when it came to all of the changing information. She already addressed the Dateline interview and the time changes, saying it was a stressful situation and she was panicking. She also said that she had originally just guessed that Carly left in skinny jeans because Carly had a lot of clothes and there was no way for her to know for sure what she had left in. But what Carly wore 98% of the time was a pair of skinny jeans. She had been wearing a light blue pair the night before, so she just assumed Carly put on another pair. She said the last thing she saw Carly wearing was a white t-shirt and that Carly was also just wearing underwear. The pants she put on were anyone's guess. She did say, however, that they looked in the laundry and were able to see that Carly had not taken that white shirt off, so they figured that was what she was still wearing, which does match the witness descriptions. Another thing that I really wanted to address is a huge point of focus in this case, and that is that Melissa had actually filmed Carly that night. There are 2 videos that have yet to be released to the public. The FBI has them, the local police have them, and Melissa obviously has them. I believe that Lindsay has also listened to at least one of the 2 videos, as have a handful of other people, including Dr. Phil and a few journalists. So, what's on the recording is not widely known. The fact that this recording was taken to begin with was actually praised by the police.
That community was here today to share thoughts and prayers with the Gousset family.
Honestly, I thought she would come home by now.
Taylor McCormick is a close friend of Carly's, and after nearly a year, she has made it her goal to bring her back home.
I'm doing a lot actually, like for the school. Today I'm gonna make posters and flyers, and just because I feel like her face is kind of disappearing and it shouldn't.
Since October 13th of last year, Taylor and her mom Kimberly have created shirts and bracelets as a grassroots way of keeping Carly in people's thoughts.
I searched with Melissa and Zach and a bunch of other friends for weeks after Carly had disappeared.
And their message is simple. They just want to bring Carly home.
She's not here. She's not here. She's somewhere else.
After hearing that the search will continue for Carly, so will their message.
If you're seeing this, Carly, you need to come home. Everyone misses you.
They said that it helped them gain a lot of insight into Carly's state of mind and her behavior prior to her disappearance. They were able to form conclusions from it and understand what she might have been thinking. While many people have questioned why on earth you would film someone in such a state of distress instead of getting them help. So, again, we have this situation where people on both sides of the spectrum have very strong opinions. I don't care what the police say. If my child is screaming, having a psychotic break, my first instinct isn't to hit record for a life lesson. My first instinct is to be a parent and get them actual help. According to Melissa, it's not even an actual video recording. She said she turned on her phone's video recorder but then put the phone in her pocket, so you can only hear the audio. She claimed the only reason she did this was to show it to Carly the following day. She assumed Carly would wake up, the paranoia would be gone, and she'd be able to show it to her and say, "This is what you act like on this substance. This is what it does to you." She was hoping it would be a life lesson. Now, during the Dr. Phil show, Lindsay states that in the part of the recording she heard, Carly directly asks Melissa to call 911, and Melissa outright refuses. Melissa has responded to this, saying that she never refused and that Carly never directly asked her to, or she would have. This claim has circulated everywhere. There are even direct quotations out there, which doesn't make sense since so few people have heard it. During the show, Dr. Phil wanted to get to the bottom of it, so he listened to the audio. Afterwards, he said that Carly, in fact, had never directly asked Melissa to call 911. He says that Carly asked Melissa if she would call 911 if anything happened to her. Melissa apparently agrees and reassures her that nothing was going to happen. Then Carly asks again, "But if anything were to happen, would you?" And Melissa says yes. So we have some people claiming there was an outright refusal to get help, and others who have heard it saying that's not what happened. Because it hasn't been released, there's no way to confirm any of it. Melissa and Zach also caught a lot of flack on the Dr. Phil show because they had apparently been asked for the audio prior to the show and refused to provide it. Then, when he confronted them about it on the show, they acted like they had never been asked. After some back and forth, Melissa agreed to let Dr. Phil listen to it, but she didn't want it aired on the show. And I will say, as a parent, I probably would not want to air something like that of my child either. I feel like it could be an opportunity for people to pick Carly apart. So I don't know if that's why they decided not to release it fully, but it just wasn't released. But at this point, the FBI and the police have the audio, so they're the ones who can actually do something with it. Police also, during their investigation, interviewed Carly's friends and family. We know nothing about these interviews because police have not released any details. It's possible that lie detector tests were taken.
Are we all ready to get started? Media, as you're checking the microphones, everything good? Okay. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sheriff Ingrid Braun. Here with me today are from the Mono County Sheriff's Office, Investigator Nino Hernandez. Oh, sorry. My public information officer, Sarah Roberts, who organized this, is filming the Facebook Live for those people watching live. Thanks, Sarah. Then you're going to have to step closer because I can't shout into the microphones because this is live TV. So step closer. I'll speak as loud as I can. So starting from the beginning, thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Sheriff Ingrid Braun. Here with me today are from the Mono County Sheriff's Office, Investigator Nino Hernandez. Our Public Information Officer, Sarah Roberts, is doing the Facebook Live. Our partners from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, we have Assistant Special Agent in Charge Robert Tripp and Special Agent Brad Bilderbach. I'd also like to thank Public Affairs Specialist Gina Swanky for organizing this. And we also have Carly's parents here with us, Lindsay Fairley and Zach and Melissa Gousset. So I want to start with to Lindsay and to Zach and Melissa. I cannot fathom the pain that you are experiencing. And I know that you all love and miss Carly very much. It was exactly 1 year ago today that I received your last text. Not knowing it would be the very last time I heard from you. 2 days after that, I got the call that made this whole world go dark. The news that my sweet rainbow baby had gone missing. I have so many questions, Carly. What happened to you, honey? Where are you? Carly, you had brought an entire village to try to find you. I miss you so much. Your mother. Your brothers miss you. Your little brother Bramson was telling me how he misses you, telling him that his clammy little body feels like wet ham. I miss you always asking me to tickle your soft little angelic back, and me always grumbling to do it, but I would give my dying breath to do it again. Baby girl, please come home, sweetheart. I don't know how much longer I could go on without you, Carly. I pray every moment that you are being treated better than any of us could have treated you. I hold on to hope that maybe someone does have you, that they will see the catastrophic damage this has done to our family. I love you, sweetie. Please come home. We love you, Carly.
With all the negative that's going around out there, be strong and come home. I will make that all go away. I promise you that. A friend of yours gave us a rose after his graduation, and he said it was for you when you come home. And I have it, and I will always have it waiting for you. If you have to, call any law enforcement or anyone who can help you. Go to a hospital and tell them where you are, who you are, and they will get you home safe with us. I pray multiple times a day that you will be brought home safely. Carly, I love you so much with all of my heart. Please come home. Please come home to where you are not only loved by me and your family and friends, but by an entire community that wants to see you come home safely. Dear Lord, please, please bring Carly home. To all of us. And if someone has you, get away. Be strong and get away. And I want to say to that person, let her go so she can come back home where she's very much loved. Find it in your heart to let her go. Take her to a hospital, please. I beg you, please let her go. A piece has been taken from you that only can be replaced by her safe return. And she is loved by so many, please.
Hi, Carly. Hi, Carvar. I hope you're watching this. I miss you so much. This whole world misses you so much. I miss driving you to school. I miss arguing with you. I miss you stealing clothes out of my closet. I miss every single little moment that we've always had together ever since you came into my life. I pray that you see this, or somebody that you're with sees this, and has the heart to bring you home. And if you do think you see her, don't wait. Just call 911, because the worst thing that could happen is they say, I'm sorry, it's not her. I'd rather be trying and just do it if you really think so. Don't wait. And we love you, Carly. And your brothers miss you so much. All four of them. You're the only sister. We just love you and miss you. Miss you more than words could even ever say.
But from what I've seen, a handful of Carly's friends did give police some information that provided more insight into Carly's behavior. Donald, her boyfriend, was able to tell police about that night. He has also posted about it on social media. What Donald has claimed is that they were hanging out with a few friends that night. He's been very adamant that they never went to a party, it was just a small gathering, and then at some point, Carly began to panic. He said they first started smoking weed at around 7 in the evening that night. But then, like a flip of a switch, Carly suddenly became scared of him. She was scared of the music that was playing. At some point, they decided to leave wherever they were, which I assume was the RV, park, and head to Donald's home. During this walk, according to Donald, she continued to panic. She was very, very paranoid. At one point, he tried to hold her to calm her down. I've seen reports that there was a brief physical interaction before she took off, running away from him. Donald said that he didn't chase after her because it was very clear to him that she was horrified of him. He was worried that if he ran after her, it would just make things worse. And I'm sure at this point, he probably knew that Melissa was on her way to get her. So, Donald just let her run off. Her friends have allegedly claimed that they saw a change in Carly's behavior in the time leading up to her disappearance. Some friends said that Carly was having what they described as paranoid episodes. She would all of a sudden become very paranoid and seem to be fixated on her phone, saying that her phone was being tracked. But I don't believe anyone was able to offer up any more information, like who she thought was tracking her or why. On top of that, despite these claims from friends, Carly's family, including Zach, Melissa, and Lindsay, said that they had never witnessed any of these paranoid episodes before. While it does seem possible that the weed Carly smoked was laced with some sort of other substance, this information from her friends makes me wonder. It's been reported that no one else who smoked that night had any sort of strange reaction. If it is true that Carly had been experiencing paranoid episodes leading up to this, it makes me wonder if smoking marijuana uncovered an underlying mental health condition. Now, I know I might get some flack for this, but it's been noted in some studies that it is possible for smoking marijuana to make someone more likely to experience temporary states of confusion or paranoia, which fits Carly's behavior that night perfectly. It can also, in some cases, bring underlying conditions to the surface. I don't know if the police were ever able to get any evidence to prove this one way or the other. I just feel like having that bit of information is important to know in general for situations like this. While this chaos continues to this day, with a lot of finger pointing and blaming, Carly is still missing. She should be the focus of this investigation. Where is Carly? The priority should be getting her picture out there and getting information out there. Did she get snatched off the side of Highway 6? Did she wander into the desert, disoriented and hallucinating? Did she maybe wander into an area where the searches somehow didn't find her? It's hard to say. As I said, the FBI was brought in to assist in the investigation. There is a page for her on the FBI website, and they do have their own reward for information. I do know that there was a press conference in 2019, but I unfortunately have not seen much since then. The Mono County Sheriff's Department stated that they were essentially no closer to answers, and the FBI essentially came up and said that they need the public to call in tips to go any further. So everything is just at this massive standstill, and there's been even more chaos because of social media. This reminds me of the Marina Joyce situation where people start commenting things like, "Blink twice if you need help." And I know that people mean well, but if you genuinely have speculations, take that information to the police. A video was released on July 19th, 2019, that has been watched over 22 million times. This person was out dirt biking in California when they saw someone they believed to look very similar to Carly. They say on there that they called 911 and reported it. But despite doing that, they still went to the lengths of making it seem like they had found her, which is incredibly damaging to the family. Lindsay has speculated that Melissa and Zach have a lot more information than they are letting on. Lindsay has even openly suggested the possibility that Carly passed away in the middle of the night from what she had consumed. That specifically when Melissa woke up at 5:45 and saw Carly wide awake with her eyes wide open, that Carly was already gone. She's also stated that she believes that it was Melissa who all of these witnesses saw that morning in the gray sweatpants and the white t-shirt, and not actually Carly. I don't know how plausible that theory could be. Honestly, that is a wild theory, but can you blame the biological mom? Her daughter vanishes from the stepmom's house after a night of terror, and the stories keep changing. At that point, you'd believe anything was possible. Melissa and Zach, on the other hand, have said that they think it's very possible that Carly was abducted after leaving their home early that morning. Zach has also stated that he believes it's possible that she walked so far into the desert while disoriented that she just got lost and succumbed to the elements. To me, based on the eyewitnesses and Carly's behavior, I think that at that time in the morning, there was something still going on with her mentally. If she was outside that morning looking up at the sky with a piece of paper in her hand, the first thing that comes to my mind is a map. Did she think she had a map to go somewhere? This is why it's so important that the police have that audio recording. Was there anything she said that night that could have been a clue? There really is just no telling what kind of delusion she could have been having at the time. So, to me, I think it's very likely that she wandered off into the desert. But at this point, everything is on the table because nobody seems any closer to finding the answers. I am hoping that continuing to raise awareness about Carly's disappearance will push authorities to continue digging into it. Years have passed at this point. Is there any new technology that could be used to help search for her in that desert area? This brings me to my next point, which I really want to reiterate. There is a way to submit tips anonymously. With everything going on social media, the doxing and the threats, it's very possible someone is just too scared to say anything. There is a pretty hefty reward. The FBI is offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to the whereabouts of Carly Gossett. On the official Bring Carly Home website, it says that they are offering a $17,500 reward. So there is a lot of money out there for whoever has information that can lead authorities to Carly. We don't know what happened to her. We don't know a lot of detailed information. The top priority is bringing Carly home and figuring out what happened. I will have everything you could possibly need down below if you have any information in Carly's case. Lindsay has stated in a more recent interview that the best way to figure out where you can donate to help increase the reward would be to reach out to the FBI. Other than that, share Carly's story, share her missing persons poster, and if you see her, call 911. If you see someone that looks like her, that you think could possibly be her, call 911 and try not to take those matters into your own hands. The scariest thing about this tragedy isn't just that a young girl vanished. It's how the people who were supposed to protect her created a storm of confusion and doubt that has overshadowed the search for truth ever since. When the story keeps changing, justice has no foundation to stand on. Now, tell us honestly, what's more disturbing to you, a teenager having a paranoid episode, or a parent who decides to film it for a life lesson instead of calling for help? When a stepmother lies to national media about her missing child, can you ever trust anything else she says? If your child was in that state, would your first instinct be to grab a phone to record them, or to get them to an emergency room immediately? And who do you believe more in this story? The biological mother with unanswered questions, or the stepmother whose story kept changing? Has anything like this ever happened in your life? Drop your story below. We read and reply to everything. And if this story touched you, subscribe so you don't miss the next case, which will shock you even more. May Carly Gossett rest in peace. Scripture tells us, be sure your sin will find you out. No secret stays buried forever. Take this story as a warning. A parent's first duty is to protect, not to document a crisis.